What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 6th infrared stream in counting.
Hey guys.
Wait, hold on. I don't think they can hear me. Can you guys hear me? What the fuck? Property. Can you guys hear me? You can hear me? What the fuck? Oh, okay, never mind. My bad. Okay, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing in the chat? Let's see who we got here this time. We got Jake English. Welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. Arctic Angel. Same with you. What's up? What's up, Rendondonian? What's up, Joey? What's up, Mr. Cyber? Is this clickbait? No, it's not going to be clickbait. Okay, you're going to see it's not clickbait. Daniel AG, what's up? What's up, Anum Kassan? What's up, Full Metal 485? What's up, Bruno? What's up, Comic Bread? You love neoliberalism? You love a lie. You live in a lie. What's up, TI guy? First time seeing you here. What's up? It's S-Ong. What's up, S-Ong? Glad to see you in the chat, man. Long time no see. That was a sick video we did. And in the future, it's going to blow up. It's going to get 50K views, you know? It's actually one of my favorite interviews we did was that video. But really glad to see you in the chat, man. Hope you're doing well. Guys, if you don't know, this is S-Ankh. We did Infrared. If you go on our channels, click on Infrared number 2. He's based in Burkina Faso. And we did a really long 4-hour talk with him. And it was really insightful, really informative. I recommend you guys check it out. It's a really sick video. Hope the stream is good. I'll be listening in the background for sure, man. What's up, None You? What's up, Jawad? How you guys doing? Yeah, we're starting out a little earlier today. You know, I'm gonna end it with the late night streams because I gotta get to bed and stuff. Believe it or not, guys, yesterday I was up for 30 hours. Because I couldn't sleep because of how late I did the stream last time. So we're gonna start doing it earlier, and let's get right down to business. Okay, let's get right down to business. So you guys, I've been trying to make the argument, and we made the argument recently in our video that we're living in socialism, and everybody seems to be very resistant to this idea. That's okay, I don't blame you. But I want to talk about what's going on with GameStop, because how do I put this? Now, I know you guys probably hear this term neoliberalism. It's being thrown out on the left. It's obviously being thrown out from the center and the right. The term neoliberalism came around the 70s and 80s because the elites, right, they were faced with some kind of crisis, and they were saying it was a new kind of fad. It was a term, we're going to be neoliberals, right? But what's under the surface, guys? Because I think a lot of leftists, maybe some of you guys in the chat, not trying to antagonize anybody, but I think a lot of people in general, including myself years ago, you know what I'm saying? We were a little bit too uncritical in accepting this kind of terminology and this flowery stuff the elites were putting out, talking about how we're living in neoliberalism and we have a robust free market competitive society and all this kind of bullshit, right? What are all the talking points, some of the talking points you guys have heard about neoliberalism and our free market society, right? It's no end of it, right? And even leftists themselves are getting caught up in this this rigged game, this bullshit they're talking about capital. Oh yeah, okay. What's going on with GameStop? Can we talk about capital when it comes to GameStop? Can we talk about capital shutting down Robinhood this fucking morning for AMC and taking off GameStop from the market list? This whole fucking thing is rigged. Exactly, it's class warfare neat feet. And I'm going to try to explain to you guys how it's a class warfare that's going on within a kind of socialism. It's all fucking rigged, man. You think it's the capitalist market that shut down GameStop, that shut down AMC, that's shutting this whole shit down? If we lived in a neoliberal society, then Reddit would be able to take over and their strategy would work. It's democracy in the economy. Isn't that what Reagan called it? People coming together, deciding they want to pump up this GameStop, this GameStop stock. But now you got the deep state forces, the shadowy reptilian, whoever the fuck is doing this, all swarming and condensing on these apps and these platforms to shut this shit down because these hedge funds are going to go broke and bankrupt, and ultimately it will threaten the national security of the United States. But ultimately, guys, this should raise an important question for you. What do you call it? When all of these concentrations of capital are so clearly and obviously being moved, right, by social, ultimately, yes, decentralized, but ultimately social processes, right? Ultimately, it's like what I was explaining it before is that we live in a type of socialism or post-socialism. I don't care what you call it, right? But you're clearly having the commanding heights directing where capital should be concentrated, not based on any kind of autonomous market logic or logic of pure profit motive, but based on some type of social signals and coordination and all that kind of stuff. It's basically a type of decentralization of 20th century socialism. During the Soviet era, during Chinese state socialism and all those kinds of planned economies, right? When the state wanted capital to be concentrated in a certain industry, it did so using signals from the commanding heights of politics. But because the internet has decentralized politics, and among other things, now these signals, which are concentrating the forces of capital and of money ultimately, they're decentralized, but it's still social and signal based. It's not based on some kind of blind logic of capital or the market. What's up, Neat? Socialism for the rich and rugged individualism for the poor. You guys, I want to ask you a basic question. If you live in America especially, aren't we told since the day we're born, since we've grown up, we're told that this is a blind, cruel market, dog-eat-dog world, and you know what? Tough shit. It is what it is. It is what it is. So when you're poor, right, you can't get a job and you're living on the street, basically, right? You're living, breadcrumb to breadcrumb. They're telling you, oh, well, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. That's how it is. The brutal, wild world we live in. But how come all of these institutions, the government, these social centralized forces are converging to protect these motherfuckers? What happened to that, huh? What happened to dog eat dog? What happened to the blind, cruel forces of the market? What happened to all these kind of fucking talking points we're always told about capitalism and the free market? It's all fucking con, man. When we were trying to tell you we live in socialism, this is what we meant. When shit really hits the fan that's going to threaten this parasitical oligarchy and ruling class, all of a sudden we don't live in capitalism anymore. We live in socialism. Just like when the government bailed out the banks in 2008, even though they lost according to the market logic of basic capitalism. Let me get through the chat. You are correct. By the way, neoliberalism is the term. No, sockdems it's also a false term, sockdems too, okay? We're gonna get to that. Pretending to be socialist so they can pretend to be anti-cap. Listen, neoliberalism is a fake term used by an oligarchical elite who are engaging in central planning of the economy, but not for the benefit of the overwhelming majority, but for the benefit of these parasitical fucking institutions and this upper crust of ruling class oligarchs and Illuminati lizards who are on the fucking top. We do live in socialism, but we live in a socialism that's for the rich and not for the people. They are planning this fucking economy. This whole economy is fucking rigged. All of these market signals that you're seeing, it's all fucking rigged. None of it's based on some spontaneous, true economic market logic. It's fundamentally a type of socialism, and that's all we ever meant when we said that. Libertarians take notes. Capitalism isn't free. Exactly, Ewoks. When libertarians say, oh, we live in crony capitalism, it's not real capitalism, they are kind of right? But you should treat libertarians like utopians. You should say to the libertarians, your idea of returning to the old capitalism is ultimately vain, because there's a reason why capitalism turned into crony capitalism. It's not a fucking accident. So you can't just return to the old capitalism, because it's the old capitalism itself which has mutated into this socialism. When I'm saying we're living in socialism, I'm saying it in the sense that there is no going back. This shit is objective. There is no going back to the 19th century British industrial economy, free trade and whatever. And even back then, it wasn't necessarily the true either. Dictatorship of the bourgeoisie. Absolutely, it's a deep state dictatorship of the bourgeoisie. What's up, Gregor Kamenev? I don't think I've seen you here before, but glad to have you here. It's the dictatorship of the bourgeois class, organized through both the special repressive apparatuses and disparate bourgeois strongholds and institutions. Exactly, yeah. So it almost is a type of bourgeois socialistic dictatorship, but it's for them and it's for their class and it's for these rotting elites who are choking the people, leaving the people down on the street, telling them, fuck you, it's the law of the jungle, while at the same time engaging in socializing type of bitch-made manipulations on an institutional level to save their own fucking skin. They keep telling us we live in a free market economy, we live in an economy where anyone can rise to the top, and yet it's pretty clear that our ruling class isn't based on any kind of free market economy. It's a ruling class that, yes, almost harkens back to the days of feudalism. It's there. It's not going to withhold its power. And all the while, it's going to tell everybody that, well, we're just here because of, it's the survival of the fittest. We happen to be the strongest, and that's why we're here. But clearly Reddit's survival of the fittest, and they proved them wrong, and that they engaged in all of these manipulations and cheating to save themselves. So what do you call that, ultimately? Okay, guys, sorry for going on this tangent. I almost lost track. This is Henry. I don't think you guys have been introduced to Henry yet. He's a regular on the show, and he's a showrunner, so he's also doing a lot of things behind the scenes. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, nice to see all you guys here. Yeah.
Cosmic Bread says, I miss feudalism. I didn't know you're that old. I'm interested in your idea. Tell me more. Yeah, we're going to keep going. Are we going towards neo-feudalism? We're not going towards neo-feudalism. We're already in some kind of post-socialism or socialism. It's not the same thing as 19th century capitalism. Capitalism has been subsumed. It's still, yeah, don't be wrong, there's still money, there's still commodities and all this kind of stuff, but it's been subsumed by this social vortex of signals and language and communication. You know what I'm saying? It's not based on spontaneous profit motive or capital for capital's sake.
Yeah, and even the big tech censorship is like the best example of it, because I'm sure.
My bad, guys. I got food here, so... Is the deep state a useful term separate from the... It's the same exact thing, Base Mango. Don't ever think like how these Marxists trying to convince you in terms of abstractions. Like, there's no occult capital. There's no occult dictatorship of the bourgeoisie. None of this stuff is like a cult, right? All of this stuff is on the surface. Everything that was from Marxism in the 19th century is basically on the surface. So the deep state, the dictatorship of the bourgeoisie, pretty much the same thing, right? There's no need to give too much weight to abstractions like Western Marx has been doing. And the biggest con of the West for the past, since May 68 revolt, was all of these Marxists that have been convincing everybody that we're still living in the same old capitalism. But you had people like Guy Debord's Society of the Spectators say, oh, we still live in the same capitalism, but it just appears because of the media that we don't. And then you have Postone and his shit is too complicated, I'm not going to get into it. And you have end notes people that are saying real subsumption. Capital has almost become this kind of Lovecraftian monster that just, it's so vast and so powerful we can't even see it anymore, and it's subsumed all of our daily lives, and capitalism is so completely taken over. Guys, give it a rest. It's all myth making, right? Look on the surface and you're gonna see that we live in some kind of socialism. We pretty much live in some kind of objective socialism. You want to know how it is, guys? We live in a post-apocalyptic socialism, which means it's not the same thing as centrally planned state socialism from the 20th century. It's the ruins and the aftermath. Think about when Russia was liberalized in the 90s and how all of the oligarchs swarmed and just took over the old socialist institutions and looted them, basically. But they didn't actually dissolve or destroy these socialist institutions. They just looted them. That's what I mean when I say we're living in socialism. We have fundamentally social processes and signals and forms of collective intervention into the economy, but all of this stuff is decentralized. It's occurring in a really spontaneous, dynamic way. It's no longer based on this type of 19th century capitalism where it's all based on the process of capital accumulation. And the ultimate example you need of that when it comes to GameStop, guys, is that by every meaningful metric, by the law of the market and the law of value and all this kind of stuff, GameStop is obsolete. It's only being propped up by Reddit to say fuck you to the establishment. GameStop is obsolete. How do you explain this in terms of the labor theory of value is my question. It's an open question. Maybe we got some smart Marxists in the chat and you want to come on and talk about it. We can arrange that. We can do that right now, actually. But how do you reconcile this GameStop thing with that? Because GameStop otherwise would have gone under, right? And it's proving to you actually that the reason businesses are performing well or doing poorly on the stock market and on Wall Street isn't actually based on their relationship to the law of value. It's based on artificial signals that are kind of subjective in nature, in a sense. It's based on signals. It's based on social signals. The reason why they were shorting GameStop, yes, is because they were looking at GameStop's earnings, and gradually over the years, GameStop has been going down under. But instead of that just happening spontaneously, it has to be mediated in a social way, okay? That's why I'm saying we live in socialism. But I know every time I say that phrase and that incantation, we lose 5 viewers, okay? But that's okay, because we're going to keep speaking this truth until you guys basically understand it, or at least aren't so offended by it. Because a lot of people they really are just turned off when they hear that we live in socialism. I'll just hop in and say that Tesla, GameStop aren't the same anymore. They're like recreation centers and merchandise stores. Tulsa, GameStop, is that a location? You're talking about Tesla. But they aren't the same anymore. Yeah, I know, but their profit margins it's like almost like it's the reason companies thrive or go down under is based on subjective decisions that are coordinated at a social level by Wall Street institutions. It's not actually based on the spontaneous result, the aggregate result of capitalists trying to accrue profit. It's based on subjective decisions that are data-based and all that kind of stuff, of course, but ultimately it's mediated in a social way. You guys, we're hearing a lot of terms about Wall Street hedge funds and hedge fund managers. Don't you guys realize these are employees? None of them are sovereign, independent capitalists like the people who own factories, the bourgeoisie of the 19th century. They're employees. These are social institutions. Okay, and yet you have this fundamental contradiction between the people, the great majority, and these fake market, fake liberal institutions. Liberalism is dead. Liberalism has no meaning anymore. It's pig on a fucking lipstick. They're trying to cover up and hide from us from the fact that we're already living in socialism. Because if we woke up to the fact that we're living in socialism, we could be like China. We could devote the infrastructure and the capital for social ends, to alleviate poverty. We could do so much great things already. It's already in place. We have the ability to go to the moon, maybe even literally, right? But they're hiding from us the fact that we live in socialism and telling us we live in a free market, dog-eat-dog world, all the while rat fucking and rigging everything in their favor. We basically already are living in it, guys. All we need to do is basically seize power politically, right? You don't have to worry about this idea of, well, do we have to do workplace democracy? All that stuff is cultural, okay? Fundamentally, at the material level, all we got to do is seize power, and all this shit, all the means by which you can coordinate a socialistic economy are already in place. But they're keeping that in there, hiding that from you. Just like how with the 2000 stimulus checks, they could have easily done that. They could have easily distributed those checks. But Mitch fucking McConnell, and even the Democrats too, they're also complicit. In Congress, they went and said, no, but did they do that out of material necessity? No, because they could just print fucking money and they could wipe their ass. It would be the easiest fucking thing in the world. But what they didn't want to do was give the population that precise idea, that yeah, we can just print money. We can just devote our social capital towards social ends, right? They don't want you to get that idea. They want you to keep thinking we live in neoliberalism. They want you to keep thinking it's all based on profit motive. They want you to keep thinking that this is a dog-eat-dog cruel world of the law of the jungle when it comes to economics, when in reality, we're already fucking living in a socialism that only the 1% are benefiting from. But we like socialism for the people now. Exactly. What I'm saying is that we live in an objective socialism, but since we call ourselves socialists, we're also subjective socialists. These people on Wall Street, they're not socialists subjectively, but they're objectively benefiting from an objective socialism, is what we're trying to say. So, of course, we're socialists, but we're trying to say socialism already won objectively, and they're trying to hide this from us. So you're saying that in our current form of socialism, that there is a centralized power, but it's planned in a chaotic way? Well, that's kind of socialism with Chinese characteristics. The dichotomy between, it's not just, you got to think about it like in cybernetics. It's not just one-way planning where you have one decision, you implement it. There's feedback loops. that are based on the market and all the signals, price signals, and all this kinds of stuff. But ultimately, in the last instance, yes, it's a form of socialism. But there are, spontaneous, decentralized, and deterritorializing processes. This terminology comes from a guy named Gilles. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that first name right. Gilles Deleuze, the French guy Deleuze. Maybe we'll do a stream. If you guys are interested, we could talk about Deleuze. But Oliver, why don't you briefly take over? Because I'm going to open this food and I'm going to eat some food.
All right.
So, yeah.
And the thing is, like, you can kind of see how this is just by looking at the way data collection works. Pretty much everything you do gives some kind of data or feedback in, some sort of way. And then, that's used, to plan things out. And it all moves very fast just because it's kind of like a digital era of socialism. And it's like how Haas was saying, it's not even for the sake of profit necessarily, because look at how in 2020, all these businesses started adopting Black Lives Matter, or even just look at cancel culture. Like, what's the point of cancel culture? It's not to make more profits. When you cancel like Nick Cannon, for example, you're not boosting your profits. You're probably lowering your profits, but you do it for a social reason. It's a branding exercise. And the same thing is true for even when the current wave of big tech censorship we're experiencing. I'm sure when Twitter decided to ban Donald Trump, they probably lost a lot of money, but it's not even necessarily about the profit anymore. It's these things are done for political and for social reasons. So yeah, I guess you could say that in a way, I would say we live in a distorted socialism. It's a bourgeois socialism. It's what we're getting at when we say that objectively we live in socialism, but subjectively the people at top aren't socialist. Is that while we have a socialist, we live in a socialist world. It's run for the sake not of socialized benefits for people, or in a people-centered way, to use a kind of a cliche phrase, but it's used to prop up Wall Street and big tech. Let's see, we live in contradiction between increasingly centralized means of production and their exactly. See, that's the whole contradiction with big tech, right? They always say we can censor you because we're private, right? That's always the argument that they use. But then you realize that the people working at Facebook are the same people working in the government, which are the same, who are connected to the same people working in the banks, but they hide under the image of being private. Oh man, new sub, nice. Let's see, TI guy. What do you think Bitcoin brings to the table as far as alternative monetary system? Well, Bitcoin is very interesting because, I think an entirely new kind of understanding of the value form, kind of needs to be done to understand Bitcoin, because it's like Bitcoin is almost like a super fiat because there's nothing, there's nothing concrete backing it up, right? Obviously, there's no, gold or a material substance backing it up. But unlike money, which is backed up by political power, Bitcoin isn't even backed up by any, specific country or anything like that. And so it's very interesting. There definitely needs to be a lot of thought put into what the meaning of Bitcoin is. Any reading recommendations? Well, that's a good question. I would say don't be scared to read anything. I mean, obviously you want to read all the classics, right? So Marx, Lenin, Mao, Stalin, etc. But beyond that, you don't want to be afraid to read other stuff too, even stuff that may not be ideologically peer. That's why we study Heidegger as well, even though we obviously don't ideologically agree with him. So I would say basically read everything. Read the classics. Also read philosophical works that may draw out new implications about how you understand the kind of like rudimentary basics of Marxism. And also, there's also just like reading fiction for the cultural value of it. There's a lot you can learn from just consuming good literature as well. Let's see. Red Dondonian. Cryptocurrency is promoted by the elites. It's anything but an alternative. Interesting. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if the deep state has gotten its hand in cryptocurrency somehow. It would certainly be stupid for them not to be in the game at all. But I'm not sure if that's objectively what the rise of Bitcoin means. It seems to me like cryptocurrency is still something that's very new and is not really under the control of, say, the U.S. Government or of Western governments in general. And I think the rise of cryptocurrency kind of represents kind of a changing time in general. And I think that China is reacting to this a lot faster, because even though crypto right now is not currently nationalized in any way or connected to any nation, I think you're going to start to see a trend where more cryptocurrencies are backed by countries. Like China seems to be the first to say they're going to create their own cryptocurrency. So I think you're going to start seeing more national cryptocurrencies soon. Let's see. Crypto is just another way of gambling mostly. Yeah, I mean, if you're a regular person, that's largely what it is. It's kind of like smart gambling, and it's like social gambling. You want to read the Reddit threads and see what other people are doing to kind of figure out what you want to do. Red Dondonian. Didn't Lenin mention something like that in Imperialism? Well, what Lenin mentions in Imperialism, the highest stage of capitalism, is kind of it is kind of the process, because even in the early 20th century, this is when you started to see free market capitalism turning into monopoly. To see all these corporations start to merge together and these big monopolies form. You start to see the banks centralized, and all these banks started to merge together into really big networks of the same banking company. You saw the rise of finance capital, and also the merging of the government with the banks and the big corporations. So basically the industrial sector, the finance sector, and the state all started to merge together in Lenin's day. And that's kind of the start of the centralization of power that is now kind of just like taken for granted today, and the end of traditional market capitalism, which existed in the 19th century. Let's see. Malik Shah, also crypto. Okay, you're applying to Red Dondonian. Okay, that there is a contradiction between increasingly centralized means of production and their being private. Yeah, right. So, that's a really good point. That is what Lenin's getting at in Imperialism, the highest stage of capitalism. You had the centralization of the means of production into these increasingly large corporations, but also still these corporations having or these trusts and these cartels and these monopolies having the facade of still being private. Let's see. Chibanis, it's a basic tenet of Marxism. It's a philosophical reason why current traditions of yeah. Okay. So also, in Engels' Socialism, Utopian and Scientific, he kind of gets at this transformation too. So in a sense, it really was inevitable that capitalism would turn into socialism. The only thing that was at question was what would be the meaning of this new socialistic society that appeared. Would it be the kind of bourgeois socialism we have in America, or would it be a people's or proletarian socialism? So the battle was always over the meaning of socialism. This kind of transformation is exactly what Engels and Marx and even Lenin were talking about.
One thing about crypto, guys, is I hear you guys mentioning crypto. Here's something you have to keep in mind about crypto. This is also a blind spot of the majority of Marxists today. Okay, what is the biggest market, guys? Guess what the biggest market is? Is it the stock market? Is it the Hong Kong Stock Exchange? Is it the New York Stock Exchange? Believe it or not, guys, it's foreign exchange, crypto. The thing you would actually intuitively take for granted, which is, well, one country's currency is, two, I don't know, Russian dollars, one US dollar. I made that up, but, you would think it's just an equivalent, but this is actually a huge site of how could I say it? I don't want to say value creation, but this is a site where huge amounts of profits, derivative profits are being made. It's currency exchange. But on a more practical level, you have an issue of currency exchange when it comes to these mass of migrant workers who are moving from Africa to Europe specifically. This is also why this is a very African sensitive phenomenon, actually, this whole issue with crypto, is because of the immense amount of migration that's occurring between countries in Africa and also from Africa to Europe. There's a need for some kind of politically neutral currency, because when you're trying to exchange the currency you have, let's say you earn in Europe, back to your home country, it's really complicated and it's causing a lot of problems. But some kind of centralized currency, one specifically based in social media, which is something these migrants actually do use to make a living, social media, believe it or not, that's going to be a decisive site of the new sphere of the economy in our globalized world. That's why Facebook wanted to create Libra, and that's why China probably plans on doing more or less the same thing. Social media is becoming a site for countries, believe it or not, in Africa, social media is becoming the primary sphere in which the exchange of goods and services is being conducted. Because there's a lack of infrastructural interconnectivity, the most advanced sphere of interconnectivity, which we assume is the digital sphere, that's actually just immediately being adopted. Another example of this was you'll see it if you live in a Western country, you're going to see something called telephone lines, right? But in China, they don't have telephone lines. And the reason for that is because when China was industrializing, the technology for the cell phone had already come into being. So China immediately adapted its infrastructure around the newest technology. That's why there's a dialectic between advanced and backward, right? The more backward place is going to be the most futuristic. Sorry, let me catch up. What's up, Hero? Very glad to see you in the chat again. Hero's from Turkey, I remember that. How are you doing? So when I think of getting more money by exchange it, I am not the first. Oh, absolutely not. Forex is a huge market. You'll find people in America always talking about, people make money off of Forex all the time. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. It's not about games. Currency differentials is something that seems to be outside of the scope of dogmatic Western Marxist economics. It's not. If you have a dialectical view, though, you can make perfect sense of it. Another thing about currency, guys, is currency is political. It's geopolitical, but it's not just based on political power. I don't know if you guys are familiar with something called the petrodollar, which is an arrangement the United States has entered into countries like Saudi Arabia that has them only sell their oil denominated in US dollars. This actually is the reason, beyond the fact that the US is the world's reserve currency, which is more or less something political, the Britain coming after World War II, but also this petrodollar is creating some kind of objective store of value, because oil is, when you're dealing with oil, you're not just dealing with political abstractions and political signals, you're dealing with something that is real and material, and not quite substantial in the same way gold is, because gold stores labor value from the past, whereas oil stores labor value from the future. Gold, right? Oil doesn't take any labor to produce, but oil is a measure of how much a country's going to need in terms of their energy needs, and energy needs are some kind of proxy for labor value. But it's not labor value in the sense of wage work, it's labor value in the sense of the basic life activity that the fueling of an economy with direct energy is centered around. I don't know if this is too much of a red pill, but let me continue. Trust me, I know it's kind of crazy. It's not about GameStop or any business for that matter. It's about having an opening to profit on stuff. Right, Quindy, they are ultimately, the goal of Wall Street bets is to make a profit, but they're making a profit in a fundamentally social way. And it reminds me of nomadic caravans or, like nomadic cavalry horsemen collectively getting together in this kind of socialism and plundering and raiding sedentary villages. It's almost like Wall Street is kind of like this agricultural village, and Wall Street bets are these nomadic horsemen or Bedouin camel jockeys or whatever. Not in the racist sense. I can say camel jockeys, I'm Arab. And they're coming to, to plunder and raid these villages and redistribute the booty of war, the plunder. So that's actually a very common thing historically, by the way. But that's what we're seeing. We're seeing some kind of social redistribution of wealth. Yes, the goal is to make a profit, obviously. But profit is not itself premising the means by which to make a profit. If that's too complicated, I'll just explain it in a more simple way, right? Yes, if you're on Wall Street bets, you're ultimately out to make a profit, right? But the way you're making a profit is by hijacking or riding upon social signals, social processes that are communications and information based. They're not based on, this kind of more objective, more substantial process of MCM, which is based in investing amount of money in technology or goods, and those goods in turn yielding you a profit. The process of actual profit making is on so many levels higher than this substantial sphere of economic performance that it relates to it almost at the level, if not beyond the level, that socialist states did with their economies. In socialism, there's kind of an interesting paradox you have to think about from the 20th century. On the one hand, you had materially objective forces of production. On the other hand, you had some kind of apparently subjective political will. So the two were united, but one could never become the other, right? This is where Mises and the Austrians were kind of coming from with their whole economic calculation problem. And the reason the guy Paul Cockshott, I think you guys mentioned him before, is so popular among the left is because he seems to pose a solution to this calculation problem with computers, but I'm kind of critical of that. But it's funny how elites got angry because average Joes, that's exactly what we're talking about, Anun Kusan. It's exactly what we're talking about. We have a socialism for the rich. They want to play socialism for them, but leave you on the street and tell you deserve to be on the street because we live in cold, hard capitalism. Meanwhile, they're cushioning themselves with safe space socialism, never having to actually be exposed to the contingency, the randomness and brutality of the market that they're saying justifies their wealth. They're acting like they got to power by their own strength and robustness, but they're actually in power because they're rigging and cheating and deceiving the majority of the people in their own country. Will this stream be available afterwards? Most likely, yes. It's the rage of the aristocrat when his fiefdom gets usurped. And notice something else, guys. The same type of woke people that you're seeing on Twitter with the rainbow flags and the BLM stickers and the pro-Biden and Kamala, why are they instinctively siding with these institutions and saying, well, it's really, why is there something in their gut which just compels them to side with Wall Street and these institutions? It's because they share a similar class origin. That class origin isn't just the bourgeoisie. It's something which people have called, but it's a little more complicated than that, the professional managerial class. People who don't make their money from work, but from the inertia of vampire institutions. That's why a lot of tenured professors and academics have all of these liberal, pro-establishment views. It's because how are they feeding themselves? They're not feeding themselves by being exposed to the harsh reality that's out there. They're feeding themselves because they're recycling the value, the sweat, blood, and labor of the America's majority that's being funneled into these institutions for these lazy, good-for-nothing, and mediocre professional managerials. That's why journalists, the majority of journalists, professors, professionals, even, SJW comic book artists, that's something I've seen quite often. People like that instinctively side with the establishment. It's because they share similar class interests, or the same class interests. That's not for me.
And yeah, in situations like this too, it's so clear that Wall Street is rigging the system. I mean, with Robinhood, stopping people from being able to buy more of the shares. So anyone defending them is just like, so clearly outing themselves. The only way you could, intuitively, defend Wall Street in a situation like this is you'd have to be, as Haas said, have your own, class interest aligned with theirs, because they're connected to a lot of the same crumbling institutions.
What's up, Bruno? Sorry. See you later, Bruno. Glad to have you here. And we're gonna have this up for later, but it's not going to be on our channel, guys. If you go on our channel and you click playlists and you click live streams, that's where we archive all our live streams. But on our main channel, we don't want to, clutter our pristine videos with these more chaotic live streams. Right? The content of these live streams is the fact that they're live, but they obviously have noticeably less quality than our videos. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
But thanks for joining us, Bruno. But yeah, anyone who's defending Wall Street in a situation like this, and like hard to believe there actually are people doing that. It's entirely because their class interest is aligned with the same institutions as the bourgeoisie and the hedge fund managers, etc. And this is also one of the common things on the left. In the past they would talk about is corruption. How all these people are bought out. This is the profound thing, though. What the last year or so shows is you absolutely do not need to be bought out to side with big business. You don't need to be bought out. It's something a lot deeper than that. It's a more fundamental allegiance that they have, and many of these people you'll find are actually people who call themselves leftists. They may call themselves an anarchist. They may even call themselves a socialist, etc., and so on. That's where many of these people are coming from on the left. Many of the allies with, Wall Street and with the big businesses come from the left itself. And it's always kind of been this way, actually, which is why a lot of the debates that the left have, seem kind of, in America at least, seem kind of archaic. Is because we've seen this stuff happen in Russia and in China. The ones most dangerous to the proletarian movement are always other leftists who are in many ways fundamentally aligned with, the big business, with the bourgeoisie.
What's up, Purple and Yellow? Glad to see you back. 401 subs, who unsubbed? Well, you're inevitably going to get people who are upset by what we're saying and just thinking, these guys are crazy. They don't know what they're talking about.
I wish one of them would come on and have a discussion with us, though. We always say, we're open to debates, but no one ever, for some reason, no one's ever.
I think people tune in and they see we're saying we live in socialism, and then they just tune out, and they're just like, okay, these guys lost me. Okay, they kind of
Yeah.
had me a little bit, but when they say that, I just can't. They're crazy, right? That's
Yeah.
ridiculous, you know.
That seems to be such a big breaking point. Maybe it's because, like, for so many years, so many leftists have always gone on and on about capital and about capitalism. But I think, like, just for like a layman, it's so obvious that we don't have a free market. Like, we obviously don't have free market capitalism anymore. And that's the thing. I feel like a lot of this stuff is intuitive.
I think what's even more profound is the fact that we clearly have a divergence between the price signals that I'm so sorry. I just choked on a leaf. Sorry. There's clearly a divergence between the price signals in our economy, which are supposed to be effects, not causes, and the material causes, at least substantial causes, which concern the concrete forces of production, the substantial forces of production, real industry, real labor, and so on. Clearly, there's a divergence between these two. Clearly, the signal, which is supposed to just be an effect, has itself become some kind of cause. And another word for the signal being the cause is socialism, right? Because socialism means production is directed politically, or it's directed for ends, ends directed on the basis of ends that have to be communicated and require information. Sorry, I'll be right back. Sorry.
Let's see, indoctrination. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of indoctrination, not just from the school system and stuff like that, but also largely from the university. The up higher education is where a lot of the indoctrination happens, especially when it comes to left-wing indoctrination and confusion. It's a lot of that comes from these university professors who kept on telling people that there's capitalism, there's neoliberalism, et cetera, all the while this transformation into a kind of bourgeoisie socialism has been clearly happening. But you have all of these university professors and now all these new media personalities lying to the people, some of them unknowingly, but yeah, lying to the people about what kind of world we live in, when it's such a common sense, intuitive fact that we don't have a free market competition anymore. We don't have survival of the fittest. We have big tech and big banks being propped up by the government and largely working towards political and social ends. Let's see, I can read at a college level, but my grammar and speech are substandard at best. Hey, that's fine though. There's a lot of people who don't have like a great college education, but here's the thing. There's a lot of things in college that people need to unlearn, actually, because this kind of goes into Althusser's. What did Althusser say about the school system? He said that the school system today was the equivalent of what the church system was hundreds of years ago. And I don't think that's changed since his time. I think it's become even more the case that the universities are like a big church, basically. So there's a lot of stuff people need to unlearn from college. And really, what you got to do is you got to trust your intuitions a lot of times, because usually your intuitions will have truth to them, and then you need to kind of dig down and find what the deeper theoretical truth of those intuitions might be. Let's see, Red Dundonian. I do wonder why I call it socialism, though it's obviously not neoliberalism, but why not just say it's centralized capitalism? Okay, so we're making a more nuanced point, right? Okay, if you remember, in the Communist Manifesto itself, Marx mentions multiple kinds of socialism, right? And what was kind of the premise was this, that there was some kind of socialistic society that would emerge. What Marx and Engels did was they were not the first people to come out and expose capitalism. The significance of Marx and Engels is that they weren't the first people to be socialists or against capitalism, but they were the first scientific socialists, and they were the first fighters for a proletarian socialism. The battle has not been over just defeating capitalism to, give rise to socialism. No, that was inevitable. The battle has always been over the meaning of socialism, the subjective meaning of socialism. That's why we call it socialism, even though it's not politically or subjectively socialism in America. It's objectively socialism, and the battle is over what nature and what meaning this socialism takes.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just going to read the next comment. Let's see. I had no college education, but at best it was GED prep. That's fine though. My brother also, same situation. He's one of the most successful people I know. It's like I was saying earlier, a lot of people, especially when it comes to matters of ideology, you have to unlearn what you learned in college. Let's see.
Red Dundonian, the thing about that point is that a lot of people, just in general, they make a mistake of not having a dialectic view. When it comes to Marxism, right, they have a more mechanical and rigid and metaphysically dogmatic view about the meaning of these phenomena. And they'll, for example, think there's capitalism and then there's socialism, and then these are just completely different things that have no relationship to one another, and it's either one or it's the other, it's black or white. And in our language, right, when we learn, for example, especially the English language, we think in this way initially when we're born and raised in a country like America. One thing is either something or it's the other, right? It's this kind of thinking about concepts in terms of pinpoints, right? Discrete, separated, mechanically separated concepts. However, and that's led people, specifically of the anarcho-punk variety, to interpret Marx's or general socialistic critique of capitalism to have something to do with abolishing capitalism. You have capitalism, you merely need to annihilate it, and then once you annihilate capitalism, you create a new system. So you destroy an old system, and a new system takes its place. Marx never thought in these terms. You will not find a single instance of Marx, not anywhere in his writings, where he talks about the abolition of capitalism. The word Marx uses in German, the original language, is Aufhebung. And Aufhebung and Abschaffung, if I'm saying that correctly, are different words. There's a word for abolition in German, Abschaffung. In Russian, it would roughly translate to liquidation, which is the real word I forgot. Marx never talked about abolishing capitalism. For Marx, you have to first begin with what is capitalism. And according to Marx, capitalism was becoming something other than what it appears as now. And that something is socialism. So the reason we don't call it centralized capitalism is because that's actually what socialism more or less is. In socialism, the fundamental estrangement between the commodity and its inputs and the outputs doesn't disappear. So the circuit, the cycle of capital, MCM, where you put something in investment and some kind of excess results from it in the form of profit, that circuit, which is a cycle, a circuit, some kind of cybernetic feedback loop in socialistic terms, which also gives rise to technological revolution, that doesn't actually disappear in socialism. Socialism actually subordinates that process toward a higher, more social ends. A higher, more fundamental ends than just profit itself. So Marx never actually spoke about abolishing capitalism. Maybe he spoke... abolition is a political word. You can't abolish a mode of production, because a mode of production isn't reducible to politics. A mode of production is also material. That's why the dictatorship of the proletariat doesn't immediately entail the end of what's called capitalism. where capitalism and socialism begin and end is not actually a matter of direct, pinpointed sequences in time. Okay, now this is capitalism, this is socialism. You should more think of things in terms of what are they transforming and becoming. And capitalism in the 19th century, for Marx and Engels, was becoming socialism. But the political consequences of this were going to be drawn out, obviously, with the political class struggle. And also the social and cultural, it's the time-old contradiction between the forces and relations of production. Although I was illiterate, okay, that's for Henry. Transform capitalism. Well, you're not transforming anything voluntarily. It's happening. It's just something that's happening and you're bearing witness to, and you're making sense of. So a lot of people misrepresent what socialism is, which is annoying because it leads to people... the serfs critiqued Caleb Maupin, and they actually said Maupin's Communist Manifesto was outdated because Marx later wrote about how instead of seizing the readily made state machinery, the state needs to be smashed. But in context, what they were talking about was not the fact that capitalism can't immediately be abolished, that gradually there's going to be a transformation into socialism that's not going to directly result from one input based on politics. It's actually... Marx was witnessing the rise of the huge state imperialist bureaucracy. And for Marx, smashing this didn't actually mean smashing the state as an abstract concept, but smashing the real and concrete state and institutions that actually exist. So Marx's position was quite the opposite of BreadTube. BreadTube says we need to defend liberal democratic institutions against Asiatic Russian hordes, which is almost a direct quote from Vosh, minus the Asiatic part. Marx was the one saying that these institutions need to be smashed. But in smashing these institutions, that doesn't mean more centralized ones or more different types of institutions and forms of statehood aren't going to take their place. So that was really dishonest of the serfs. To say when they were trying to critique Caleb and Caleb's point about the Communist Manifesto. But
yeah, and it's such an outdated point too. I mean, these were the same kind of arguments that Lenin were, refuting in his time. It's like these are very old arguments. This stuff has already been clarified. It's already been proven that this is not what Marxism meant, both theoretically and over the course of history. Just look at how actual socialist revolutions have worked. It's not like there's never been any state where the socialists have smashed the institutions and there was nothing that came after it. No, the whole point is you destroy the currently existing bourgeois institutions, state apparatuses, and you replace them with proletarian institutions and state apparatuses, and you direct the class war from the position of the proletarian state now. And this is exactly what Lenin was talking about in State and Revolution. So yeah, a lot of these leftists will use these very already settled debates and arguments in a very dishonest way. Let's see, words. Yeah, it was insane that Bosch referred to Russians as demonic hordes. I was almost surprised just hearing Vosh talk about the Russians as demonic hordes. It's such a blatantly racist thing to say. And this is coming from the guy who's always like fascism, and he's saying these pretty exterminationist views, demonic hordes. This is the same stuff that Europe has been saying about Eastern peoples for a very long time. These hordes are going to overrun us and burn our villages and stuff. And he's saying that as he advocates for America having a quote unquote stranglehold on Russia. Let's see, Vosh said the N-word on stream. Not surprising too, because he thought it would help him win the debate. Let's see, purple and yellow. What was he saying in that reference to? Yeah, it's not that surprising. It's because all of these people talk about anti-fascism, and stuff like that, who are always saying, oh, these racists, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of these liberals and left liberals are some of the most racist people you'll meet. And it's not just because they're subjectively racist, it's because their position, even more deeply than if they were like as explicit as Vosh, it's an objective kind of Anglo racism. It's the objective racism that's behind, the way America treats the rest of the world and its own, black population. It's what the fascist says. BreadTube is definition of bourgeois socialism. I mean, BreadTube is just basically independent people for free propping up U.S. institutions. They're not even. The sad thing is they don't even have to be paid to like the mainstream media. They just do it for free because that's their intuition. And he defends it, and his fans defend the strategic. I kind of want to watch this video. This sounds so like ridiculous, but at the same time, I mean, this is the same guy who's supporting, supporting Navalny and kind of trying to minimalize that video about, killing the Muslim insects. So, I mean, I guess that's what you would expect from Vosh.
Well, I actually know a little bit about Vosh. He comes from a background of followers of a guy named Destiny. And the reason these people command the popularity and attention that they do is because they appear to premise their views in this kind of rationalistic way. And within the ruling institutions of America, from modern science especially, that's the most important one, to even the sphere of law, right? Rationalism is the predominant ideology. So when Destiny speaks in this kind of rationalistic way, like, here is my axiom, my systematic axiom is airtight and it is perfectly consistent like a computer, in this kind of inhuman way, people see that and they see that he's wielding the very same authority and power that permeates the whole of society. But it's interesting because people like Destiny, and as a consequence Vosh, in the form of the way they're relating to these audiences, is very much beyond the establishment. It's very decentralized. So ideologically, they are kind of robots of the establishment. This hyper-rationalism, this kind of axiomatic American thinking that allows them to say the N-word, and because it's all hypothetical and a devil's advocate, and it's all a rationalistic thought experiment. Like Ben Shapiro. But the form of their position is actually in contradiction with that. And I actually think that the intensity of this contradiction is why they're popular. People like to see someone that speaks with some kind of authority, who is at the same time, in the form of their expression, apparently undermining that same authority. Sadly, I gotta go. Very interesting. See you later, Red Dundonian. Glad to have you here. I used to watch Vosh, sadly. That's all right. Same. I'm a little embarrassed. Vosh got me into at least his idea. And I think the reason he does is because Vosh uses the ruling class's ideology, which is this kind of liberal rationalism, robotic type of thinking, mechanical thinking. And he says, even from this, socialism is justified. Believe it or not, guys, that's the appeal of Chomsky too. Chomsky's a linguist, a renowned linguist in the world of the bourgeoisie. But because he's giving people breadcrumbs saying, despite my authority and my, my rationalistic type of thinking, I'm going to go ahead and defend socialism and therefore lend it legitimacy. So this is a really powerful dynamic. The media calls the GME fiasco anti-Semitic. Of course they do, Great Gaddafi. We ourselves saw a tweet of a guy saying that this whole thing is leading to Nazism, that these are all Nazis and this is all fascism, and that stopping this is anti-fascism. We saw a tweet. I don't know if I could pull it up now, try to find it and to show you guys, but it's incredible. It's incredible. And all of that reveals to me is the extent to which Zionism is so entrenched in the establishment. Not Jews specifically, but the ideology of Zionism. Because why else would they bring up anti-Semitism for something like this? Why, why else, if not the fact that they're going to just go ahead and admit that ideologically speaking, Zionism permeates the American establishment, and these same, institutions that are under attack by Wall Street bets. Thanks to Hakeem, I'm here today. That's good. That's good to hear. I thought you meant like Hakeem directed you to this stream, and I was like, what? I know what you mean. You can't talk about financial institutions, foreign policy, or news media.
Because that's anti-Semitic,
And it's interesting because just like with the Nick Cannon thing, who is bringing this up? None of us mentioned anything about Jews whatsoever, and yet you have people bringing anti-Semitism up. So it kind of seems to me like these Zionists are incriminating themselves. They're incriminating themselves in the fact that they are in bed with the establishment. They are in bed with the financial institutions, the media, and the foreign policy. And the only evidence you need of that fact is that we don't even talk about them, and yet they pop up their heads like, out of nowhere, accusing people of anti-Semitism, even though they never even mentioned or said anything about Jews whatsoever. It reminds me of the Corbyn mural that got Jeremy Corbyn into trouble that actually said nothing about Jews. It's not like there was a David Star anywhere in that mural. And yet it created a whole scandal, and everyone was calling Corbyn anti-Semitic because Corbyn was praising the mural. Let's actually bring up the mural itself. Corbyn mural. I want to ask you guys, just from do a kind of psychological test, I guess, because I can't see it. Well, I can if I think abstractly and then, post-stone theory, which is bullshit. But I want to know what's so anti-Semitic about this mural. Let's go ahead and pull it up. I don't see this and think Jews. I just don't. Do you guys? Or I guess they have big noses, but a lot of people have big noses. I mean, even this guy kind of has a big nose, and he's not, one of them. So I'm curious about what's so anti-Semitic about this. Trying to find, is there a David Star anywhere? What am I missing? What really am I missing? So is that Nazism? Is this Nazism? I guess so nowadays. This is what passes for Nazism. That tweet got him in trouble too. Italian noses. Yeah, what's so specifically Jewish about it? All we need to do is stand up and their little game is over. Ice Cube on that mural. Yeah, another based guy's Ice Cube, He was also accused of anti-Semitism on completely baseless and groundless terms. You know what I think? I think there's a kind of narcissism among Zionists where they just assume people care about them and are thinking about them, but they're actually not. But they're so narcissistic that they just feel like, everyone's always thinking and talking about them when no one was like, well, they'd be like, well, that's just like the Protocols of Elders of Zion. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? No one was. It's not like we're secretly making innuendo about. If we want to mention the Jews, we'd mention it. It's like a form of paranoia. It's almost like the topographic inverse of anti-Semitism, where it's like if anti-Semitism is this type of paranoiac thinking, this is almost kind of like the reverse, where you just assume everyone's anti-Semitic and is always thinking about the Jews and is targeting them when it's just not what's going on. Yes, I understand in Europe there's an association of bankers and elites, I guess, with Jews and, establishments with Jews because of the whole German thing. But, isn't the whole point that it's wrong to equate the two? I thought that was the point. I didn't think the point was actually, yes, the Jews are in control and are, they are the elite and that we just have to accept it. I was thinking that maybe the whole point was that they aren't the same thing, which is what Lenin said. Lenin said that some, like anyone else, are part of the elite and some, like anyone else, are not. It's not, But it's very strange, it's very strange. It's a form of opportunism. They're trying to blackmail you. They're trying to say that if you oppose the status quo, if you're against the establishment, then you hate Jews and you have hatred in your heart for a part of humanity. And they want to make you feel bad and think, oh, well, I'm not like that. And that's how they get you. Anyone protecting the wealthy hedge funds is utterly blue-pilled. Yeah, I mean, when I think of capitalists, plain and simple, yeah, I think that's what most people thought too. Not everyone is versed in the history of European anti-Semitism because, believe it or not, Europeans comprise a very small minority of the total amount of people who live on planet Earth. So it's not all about you guys, It's not all about you. What's up, Ezra?
Hello.
Hey, Ezra.
Hi, everyone.
Fuck the bourgeoisie. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what do we call it? What do you call it? It's like, you've got, whenever you see a pick crew guy on Twitter, he's not even part of the bourgeoisie, and yet he will defend them. So, something strange is going on. Same thing that Europeans think about Jews can be applied to the relationships between Indonesians. I know European anti-Semitism is not the ultimate form of this paranoiac relationship to groups of people. There's all sorts of different forms and variants of it across the world. And I mean, the majority of people are not Europeans. The majority of people do not care about European anti-Semitism. They just don't. Not even Middle Eastern people care about it. When Middle Easterners are spouting anti-Semitic conspiracy theories like you see on Memory, do you really think they know what they're talking about? I can vouch for you and tell you they don't. They're just saying bullshit because they hate the Israelis. They don't really care about this vested European problem with Jews.
And here's the thing: the anti-Semitism was always based in a deeper fear of like Eastern people in general, and that's the difference. So obviously, if you have a Middle Easterner, saying something bad about Jews, it's obviously not based in a deeper like hatred of himself. So there's a really big difference between these two things. That's the most ironic thing about it. The anti-Semitism was always about hatred of Eastern peoples, and the Jews just conjured up the image of these people from further east.
And the Nazis were pretty explicit about that, guys. The Nazis were very explicit about this. They said the Jews are rats who came from Asia. These are Asian people and are invading our Aryan territory. They're Middle Easterners,
And tied it to the, sorry, just very quickly, they tied it to the Khazar Khanate historically, right? Like they think most Jews are actually descended from, most Ashkenazi Jews are actually descended from the nomadic Khazar Khanate. And this was a whole political as well as a scholarly debate about that for years.
It's really just, Gaddafi's ghost. The only Jews those Middle Eastern guys interact with are the IDF. Yeah, it's really interesting because it's kind of funny when people say that there's like BDS is anti-Semitic and Arabs and Muslims can be anti-Semitic, but I don't think they can be because it's kind of ridiculous. What are they going to be anti-Semitic about? What will they say? They don't like the Jews because they have big noses? Well, what are Arabs known for? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of absurd.
The real anti-Semite is Vosh when he's talking about these demonic hordes from Russia. That's
it's
anti-Semitism.
Quintessential pathology of anti-Semitism is the liberal paranoia about Russia, and defending Western civilization is part of the same branch of genealogy of anti-Semitism. Yeah, fascism in Europe is a story about the West against the East. It is. I ultimately think it is, Arctic Angel. Unironically, I think it actually is. I think that the Jews in Europe just evoked the colonized and non-European peoples out there in the big wide world, and that's where the paranoia and psychosis set in. That's why, when the Red Army came through Europe, anti-Semitism would kind of become superfluous. This is the real thing now, you know. It's not just evoking these people. I think fascism needs both industry and an upcoming leftist movement. Well, Greg Gaddafi's ghost, here's what I think it makes fascism meaningful in a historical context. It needs to be backed by the Anglo-liberal elite. We should never think in terms of abstractions, right? These are concrete historical phenomena. There's no abstract fascism. There's no such thing as fascism in the abstract. Yes, it's oftentimes, it does need to mimic, but it's not just mimicry. It's also the fact that fascism is a failed kind of socialism. Remember, there was more types of socialism than Marxism. And there was feudal socialism, reactionary socialism, and so there's the historical context. Fascists here in Norway were big talking about Russian and even Finnish power.
Interesting, Finnish power.
I think Finland is probably one of the most interesting countries in Europe, personally. I really like something about Finland I like.
I mean, it's historically, I think it's connected to among people's imagery is connected to the East as well, with Turanism and the Finno-Ugric people too. In fact, they were considered a long time to be Mongolic, even by serious scholars.
So are the Hungarians too. You just brought that up earlier. But I don't think fascism will ever come back in the... I agree with that 100%. And you know, it's not only that it might come back in third world countries, Great Gaddafi's ghosts. If you look at the history of the Cold War, the U.S. was bankrolling and funding exterminationist death squads and fascist juntas and all sorts of creeps. Even Nazis themselves, former Nazis, were moving to South America, were going to Africa as mercenaries. And yes, this was fascism. So instead of talking about the boogeyman of fascism, I think Westerners need to realize that this is really nothing new for the majority of the world's people. Maybe racial fascism won't come, but woke fascism is a real enemy. Elaborate. Finns ethnically have more in common with Slavs than Scandinavians. It's interesting. The whole Northern Europe is all very interesting to me. You know, it's like Northern Europeans beyond Finns, it's almost like they're so European and they're so white that they're almost not. You know what I mean by that?
Like, I keep thinking, my brain keeps giving me the image of Midsommar, that film, when you talk about that.
And
creepy Sweden.
Yeah, I know, and I kind of like it. I kind of dig it. And then Icelandic people, you know, they seem really cool, but yeah, it's almost like they're so European that they're just not, you know. They're almost not. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't know.
Not to detract too far, but you like Midsommar, the film, but lots of people like the film, not the film, but the cult, unironically, in the United States.
Which film? Midsommar?
They identify with it.
Midsommar?
No, the weird Swedish cult.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. Race has pretty much been disproven by modern science. Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of ethnographic and, you know, there was even Soviet ethnography, you know, so the Anglo conception of race is, you know, obviously outdated. You know, there's no such thing as, for example, a self-subsisting material race of Caucasians. It's just a really meaningless word. But are there different kind of clusters of ethnicities and ancestry, whatever? Yeah, I mean, I think when you look around the world, you can just see that people look different, you know? And that doesn't mean there's different races, but it does mean there's different peoples, you know? There's different peoples with different ancestry. Yeah. But it's interconnected in interesting ways, you know?
You know,
Yeah. Sorry.
I was gonna say, like, going back to all the stuff about fascism is like one of the biggest lies is that you have to be a liberal to defeat fascism. When in reality, liberals always prop up fascism, and only communists historically have defeated fascism.
You know, I want to put out a bounty for those kind of liberals who talk about we need to have a popular front with Biden to defeat fascism. I just want to ask them, what about France? France had a popular front. The French Popular Front was unable to mobilize a majority of the French population to resist Nazism. The Popular Front actually did gain power in France, and it was a complete failure. I don't know why people, leave that out of the debate. It's very mysterious to me. France was an example of what happens when leftists try to ally with the establishment, and the result was a disastrous failure that led to an unambiguous victory of fascism. Race has been race as a concept is outmoded, but the consequences of people looking different from each other is still a reality. Yeah, there's people look different, people are different with diseases and stuff, and yeah, I mean, I don't know, do people sound different? I don't know. Like, if everyone spoke the same language, would people speak differently based on geography because of how they sound? I don't know.
Maybe.
I actually don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, yeah, there was definitely it's not true that acknowledging the fact that there's differences between people. They're not differences in terms of they're not human, or it's not like differences in terms of determinism, but it doesn't have to be racist to just acknowledge that, right? I think culture supersedes race. Well, it's kind of a false dichotomy, isn't it? Not forget about the concept of race, but culture is also an index of a people, and that is materially entrenched. So nation states will probably turn into coalitions, and yeah, if anything's outdated, it's nation states. I completely agree with that. I'd say Europe can be divided into 4 unions. What are the 4 you think? I think one of them is the Latin Empire, which is Franco-Germania, and I don't know, maybe parts of northern Italy will be included in that. Belgium is included in that. Belgium is the living example of the unity. Then I think at the very least, Balkans is a whole nother story, with Serbia as the center, it seems. Some kind of Balkan polarity. There's also the British Isles, even though we're all for Irish independence, maybe even Scottish independence. You could tell these people are still somehow related, right? Then there's Franco-Germania. They're Franks, That's what the Crusaders were called, Franks. Then there's Polish-Lithuania. That's one people don't talk about. The 3 Seas Initiative, which is an American-backed plot, but Poland has always been trying to revive Polish-Lithuania, the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth.
Maybe a Mediterranean one as well?
I don't know. I feel like at that point, different polarities blend together. It's not just this. It's almost like historically, when you reach the border, people start looking like the people of the culture of the other nation, and then it just kind of blends. It's not like discrete differences. It's not like when you cross the border. It's even in Texas in America. You have Tex-Mex food. You have very prominent Mexican culture in Texas, and aren't some video games like that? Maybe I'm thinking of a video game where it's like the more you go towards the border of the other province, the more the towns along that border are gonna, it's kind of like that. Where do Hungary and the Baltics fit in? The Baltics is a different story than Hungary, but it's all a very complicated jigsaw puzzle. Do you like the Caspian Report? If I need my quick fix on something and I just want some info, he's not bad. He's not horrible. He's not terrible. Why do you ask?
I assume we have all mentioned the meaty stuff today. Sorry.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Dogecoin. What's Dogecoin at right now?
It's this. It's a cryptocurrency.
No, I know what it is, but what is it at right now?
Oh.
They want to get it to $1.
That would be insane. That would be insane.
That would be fucking crazy. I don't even consider the Balkans Europe. Yeah, it's true. The Balkans are very much... I mean, the Europeans treat them that way. You know, the Europeans treat them as Easterners. So they're definitely a difference from Western Europe. It's at double than what it was yesterday. It's at 0.023.
Yeah, I'm so mad. I put some money into it late last night. I was kind of up last night watching everything, and then I kind of just quickly pulled out of it because I was like, this is kind of sketchy. I don't know if I want to keep it in there. And then it just doubled when I woke up.
It's 2 cents now. Yeah, it's 2 cents. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, where is the objective law of value? You know.
Yeah, it's entirely the signals. It's entirely signal based.
Yeah, I mean, I wish. Yeah, I'm trying to find ways to simplify it a lot better. You know, get Harambe coin. I've never heard of that. Believe it or not, guys, I have money in crypto. From a long time ago, from 2017. I have Litecoin. I have some Bitcoin. I don't have any full Bitcoin. Don't get me wrong, I'm not that rich. I have fraction. I have Satoshis. I have Litecoins. And I have some Ethers. But I got them all when they were cheap in 2017. Very early on in 2017. Ricecoin when? Yeah, another thing about cryptos that I didn't mention is that it's very possible cryptos will be pegged to natural resources. Venezuela seems to want to do that with its gold reserves, its minerals, its gold minerals. Other countries might do it with oil. So, how quickly will the U.S. FP return to warmongering? It seems like they've already returned in a way, right? TI guy?
Didn't Biden send some more troops to Iraq or recently?
Yeah, that's what I heard too. It's also what I heard. I heard the exact same thing, yeah. Already in Syria, yeah. The thing is, guys, is that I'm not even sure if the warmongering establishment are even self-aware. I think maybe they're just doing it spontaneously. They're just starting conflicts and wars. You know, if you notice how wokeness works, not to bring it up, but it's like these people cause conflict and aren't even realizing it. You know, they're just recklessly fucking shit up, and they're not even thinking about the consequences of what they're doing. Because they're that psychotic and they lack that basic self-awareness. You know, it's like Game of Thrones how they had showed Daenerys on her dragon and she just was burning everyone, not even thinking about what she's doing. It's almost like that, you know? Is Iran a DOTP? Is Iran? Well, it doesn't call itself one. But I think the dictatorship of the proletariat has influenced, at least, the form of states in this day and age. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard are kind of like Iran's deep state. And a deep state is, in a sense, a proxy, a fill-in for some kind of class dictatorship, like a proletarian dictatorship. I mean, in China, for example, you had a difference between the party, which was the proletarian dictatorship, and the official government. So deep state is also at odds with the official government in the U.S. and the IRGC in Iran is at stake. Is relates to the official government in a similar way. Didn't Biden sign something stopping the sale of arms to Saudi and UAE? I don't know. They're defending the oil field? Oh. There seems to be a current of low level of officers in the military who can understand what they did was wrong after they already did it. Yeah, I mean, that's true for every military in the world, you know? It's true for every military in the world.
And I think in America, most of the people who join the military are usually pretty poor people who are usually joining to get some kind of financial benefit, like go to a cheaper college or like better housing. So there really is a class reality to what people, which people are joining the military. I mean, like even better example than Tulsi Gabbard would be like Ojeda, for instance. You have a lot of these kinds of people joining the military because it was just a better opportunity for them than whatever they had, going on.
Yeah, guys, there was a guy that we were looking at earlier in 2018 called Ojeda. And we thought he was going to be the new replacement for Bernie. And he was going to be like a tougher, working class leader for America instead of Bernie. But the tragedy with Ojeda is that he became a kind of Russiagate liberal who just hated Trump. And it's really sad. It's really sad because he was showing some promise to us, at least in 2018.
Well, he kind of gave up first, and then he doesn't have anything to do, I guess.
Yeah, getting rid of conscription made the troops impossible to criticize in the eyes of the public. Yeah, I mean, the era of mass armies seems to be migrating to the information war and away from the military, the direct battlefield. Infantry warfare is kind of not that big anymore, and maybe it reveals something about the nature of warfare even in the past.
I mean, even that the Reddit scandal is such a big example of like information warfare, because like if signals are like one of the biggest things controlling like how profitable something is or how big a company is. It's all about manipulating information in the signals, or getting people together to send a big signal, like on Reddit.
Jake English. We're really big fans of Jimmy Dore, and we're really glad to see what he's been doing.
Fact.
I want to show you guys Ojeda from 2018. But we're really big fans of Jimmy Dore over here. Let me show you guys Ojeda.
Backbone to come here and stand in front of you and answer your questions. And that is why I never wanted to be a politician. I retired after 24 years in the military.
But guys, the tragedy is that this is 2018 and he became like a Russiagate, Trump-hating liberal. But he voted for Trump in 2016. So we were looking at this guy and we were thinking, maybe this is the guy,
I come home. And I was pretty much ready to live happily ever after with my wife and my kids. And I found that I got kids in my backyard that had it worse than the children that I saw in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Used to be that the actors were communists. I'm kind of glad, though, because they were kind of fake communists, those actors, right? Like when they found out that the USSR had prisons, they all got disillusioned. And the Soviets quickly realized that Western sympathizers are the first to turn because they become disillusioned. Because they have unrealistic and silly expectations about the nature of socialism. You were the chosen one. Yeah, it's that sad, man.
They're giving the biggest tax breaks in the history of this nation. They're giving it to the top 1%. And yet right now they're talking about, well, you know what? How are we going to deal with this deficit? I know they're going to cut Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. That's unacceptable. Why is it always going to be on the backs of the poor to save this country?
We were thinking this was the chosen one. Yeah, we were thinking that. But he kind of became too caught up with the Democrat. Maybe he still has promise in it. He's just kind of rolling with the tide. But
it's kind of hard if you're from one of those places and then with the local Republican establishment is really, really corrupt.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard now to just just endorse the mainstream Democratic position.
Yeah. Yep, that's a big part of it. We got a dislike.
We always get like one or
Speak up.
two.
Yeah, we always get one or two. They never actually reveal themselves.
I'm pretty sure it's the same people. Like I have the suspicion it's the same two people.
And they're that butthurt that they always come on to dislike. You gotta appreciate the consistency, right? Like, who hates us? Who's like, is this like a stalker or something? You know, it's funny because anyone who's streaming should expect some haters, but we never like see who they are. They never in the chat. Sup, guys? What's up, the dude over there? Glad to see you in the chat, man. How are you doing? So it's a bot. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder why our videos don't do well. That well, I mean. Is it because we have to make more? Is it because the algorithm is fucking us? I don't know. I mean, I don't expect everyone to love our videos, but they seem very clickable. What do you guys think? Do they seem clickable or no? Just for views, you know? Because here's why I say that. Just post on a schedule. Theodoro, what's up? But you know, thanks for the advice. Appreciate it. But what was I gonna say? You got to spam the community posts now. Yeah.
Oh.
The thing is that our videos get so much engagement. We get so much engagement. We get a lot of likes and comments. 90% of people on YouTube are like 12 is such an excellent point because it's true. Your videos are sick. Thank you, Purple and Yellow. Appreciate it.
Thinking about the community posts, I heard something about this algorithm about the community posts being kind of weird. As people post something, and then like most of the people who interact with your posts aren't even subscribers. Something weird going on. That's why I heard.
Capitalism, YT, and the algorithm pumps out what are deemed to be acceptable. Less charitable people might see your super long videos and their titles and think you're know-it-alls. But don't people at least, aren't they kind of curious? Just watch like 2 seconds of it. You know? Because I'll give you an example. A lot of videos I watch on YouTube are made by very, know-it-all kind of people. And people seem to like that. But you're probably right, is that the length is something we definitely think was one of the reasons. Y'all are being suffocated by the algorithm, I'm convinced. Yeah, I don't know. It's mysterious. Have you tried Twitch instead? Do you think we would do better on Twitch? The thing is that we have a lot of subscribers here relative to our, from our point of view. And on Twitch, it might be a little harder. But what do you guys think? Should we also stream on Twitch? You punch above your weight. It's that you post a few structured. It's very right, Quindy. It's very right. It's so sad this channel is underappreciated. Jake English, what I think is that like in 5 months, it will go viral, but it'll be too late. Our views would be outdated by then. And people won't want to hear our new views. That's always what happens. Yeah, but 2 seconds isn't enough. I have patience, but I still don't know your theory that well, and also be unputting. But aren't you kind of like? I'm really glad, by the way, that you have this feedback. But we would think that people are just kind of curious just to see what it is, Algo and y'all are pretty far from the mainstream. Titles in the thumbnail, maybe. Yeah. How many permanent members do you have of the show? Above a dozen. I think you should do a debate. I don't think anyone wants to debate us. The 12-year-old problem is worse on Twitch, to be honest. Is it worse on Twitch?
Really?
Yeah, XQC, right? That guy. You guys know who that is, XQC?
No idea. No idea.
He's a streamer who's known for having...
Oh.
Reaching out in various social media sites is beneficial. We've tried pretty much everything, This channel is great. Thank you, Arctic Angel. Appreciate it. Yeah, we've tried reaching out to a lot of different places. There are people like that, but the incentives of YouTube don't cultivate such curiosity mostly. Okay, I see. Spotify for these live stream podcasts. Spotify, really? I've never heard of that one. Do you guys think we should switch to Twitch? Not switch permanently, but also try Twitch. IRL content is something that leftist channels never tried doing themselves. Two things about that, though, is that I don't have a setup. You need a setup for IRL. To have good IRL, you need a setup. And I don't. I don't have the battery setup. I don't have a selfie stick. Like conferences or street interviews. To Joe Rogan? Yeah, but Joe Rogan got paid like $1 billion.
I mean, Joe Rogan is like the biggest podcaster in the world, I think. So, of course, that's going to be successful.
Maupin debated Vosh. Here's the thing, though. Maupin works for RT, and he's a really established, not in a bad way, but he's a really prominent guy already. And used that clout to go on to tanky streams, it seems. But I think Caleb was always known, right? He's always been on RT and just grouping up with different people. Yeah, we're going to do a collab with Ewoks tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. EST. So there's that. We are doing something with Ewoks tomorrow. Anything can happen. Very true. Like the CPI or gray zone. We have to have something to offer ourselves, We have to have something. Reach Paul Moran, he can promote you. I don't want to leech, I don't want to leech off of people.
I feel like we have like something really powerful going because we have so many people watching our streams. Like this is like, way more than even bigger channels will have.
Let me get... Sorry.
What are you going to say?
I was just going to ask the chat. And as far as you guys know, how, 30 viewers, is that a lot for starting out on YouTube? Because I know on Twitch that's really good. But is it the same on YouTube? Or because I actually don't know. We don't know, Like on Twitch, if you can start getting 20 viewers, that's crazy, But our viewers now is kind of really big to me, but on YouTube, is it standard or? Because YouTube's kind of different, It's more than my other friend. Wow. Yeah, so I guess it's not that bad, We are kind of climbing up. We are kind of rising. One time we streamed last week and we peaked 60 viewers. That was fucking crazy. Now we have.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of engagement from people who are subscribed to us. We have lots of comments, lots of live views, but not a big enough base. We want to widen ourselves a little bit more.
We have crazy engagement. It's very true. I found you guys at 350. At 350 subs? That's crazy. Subs now, you got 400. True, we have been kind of growing pretty fast. That is true. Encircle BreadTube. All it takes is the Surfs or Vosh or someone from there to just try to debate us or something, and I think that will that will propel us pretty far. But I think a consistent schedule would be good for views. Post more thirst traps. Purple, when have we ever posted a thirst trap?
More implies someone already did.
Who did?
No, I'm just commenting. More implies already did. It's not. They didn't say post thirst traps. They post more thirst traps.
Perhaps your content is too intellectual to be popular. I don't think it is. I think you guys think. What do you guys think? I don't know. You need to climb to 1K, then spam community posts. Yeah, we need 1K. Honestly, that's what that guy told you, Ezra, right? Like after 1K, that's when shit starts to take off. You're right. Ewoks is close to 1K. He's got like 800. Yeah, you're right. I think the way to get more subs is through the debate. I know we don't have enough clout for people to want to debate us. Is the problem? Socialism Done Left barely gets 20 viewers on lives. What? That's crazy. Do we have a Discord? Not yet, no. Keep content on videos and lives consistent. Yeah, the thing with videos, guys, videos take a lot of effort and time. But lives are way more easy to do, as you can see. You know? Like, our lives are getting a little bit better quality. We're putting better stuff. But our lives are going to get better and better quality. That's for sure, yeah. Let me ask you guys a question, and don't be mad at me if it's cringe. Would you guys ever want to see gaming? Like, see me play a game or something, or see us play a game? I don't think anybody has gaming PCs, right? You guys don't?
Yeah, I don't, but I just got a new laptop, so maybe it could run some stuff.
We could play like Minecraft or something. Because that one is not too intensive. Gaming would be nice. Sure. Really. I think Halo should be easy to run, right? Halo?
Then Minecraft?
Yeah, Minecraft's actually really intensive, believe it or not. It's really hard on systems. Maybe as a side thing, not the main play, yeah. You guys put a lot of talking videos. Should be talking with a certain goal in mind, while lives is chatting with viewers and going. Yeah, I agree. We agree with that, yeah. Gaming for chill streams. Yeah, Halo is easy to run on old PCs. I have a Best Buy gift card because I returned my old laptop because it broke. And I can buy like a PC or a laptop. And it should be able to run stuff. And then I can also keep this computer for streaming, and I can have like a dual setup. But this PC is kind of like, I don't have two, like, this PC is not really doing well for me. Yeah, Halo is easy to run on old PCs, yeah. Terraria is a great game to play on stream. I remember that fucking game. Terraria. But it's like 2D, right? Come on. You can only go in this direction and this direction. Streams need a lot of visual stimulus to catch attention. Very true, very true. I've tried to react to videos, but I don't know how well that did. You guys want to react to some videos or what?
Do you have anything in mind?
Yeah, I mean, we could pull something up.
Yeah, it might be. It might go well.
Oh.
What do you guys think, viewers?
Sounds good. All right, Joey said it sounds good, so it's good. I gotta go, guys. Goodbye and good guy. See you later, Quindy. Glad to have you here, man.
See you later.
See you later. Keep destroying Vosh videos, maybe good. Dark Horse Stories. I'm kind of bored of them, though. You know, I was so exhausted from the last one. He's kind of boring. This is Ewoks. This is the one that's gonna come tomorrow, guys. Look at this. This is tomorrow. Us and Ewoks. Dunk on BreadTube, maybe. Vosh is high. I want to build socialism. No, I'm sick of Vosh. Let's find someone else besides Vosh. I'm sick of him. He's kind of boring, you know?
Yeah, not two Vosh videos in a row, at least.
What is this? This is an Ewok. Interesting. Yeah, let's find some stuff on YouTube. Viewers like to see themselves on stream too. People will donate just to see their name on screen. Oh yeah, we could put a chat on screen. Yeah. Infrared unhinged. Dunk on socialism for all. People really want theory videos. We tried that early in stream. We only got like 20 views. We were talking about theory early in stream, but not too theoretical in depth. Ewoks and house elves rise up. Yeah, I agree. What's up, Darg? How you doing? Cover a lot of concepts in your streams that I think you should condense to shorter 5-7 minute vids. True. Yeah, we'll look into that. True. Hakeem did a poll on it to ask what kind of videos they want. We can't do community posts yet. We need 2K subs or 1K subs, but we can't do them yet.
I think it's 1K, I believe.
Yeah, something to convince people your longer ones are worth the time attention. True, Darg, very true. We do need shorter ones in general. Who just joined? I can't see. Oh, it's Victor.
I joined. Is everything working? You can hear me fine?
Yeah. What's up, man?
Yes, perfect.
Hey, so I'll introduce myself because it is my first time on an infrared live stream. So I'm Mirek. It's good to finally be here. As for a background, I am a Polish Canadian, so that's like a double negative. Not only am I a far-right Polish authoritarian fascist, but I'm also a member of the Canadian colonial ethno-state. So take that as you will. And just glad to be here, guys.
He's just saying that because we always talk shit about Canada, but he's taking it personally.
I mean, all the Anglo colonies, they don't deserve any respect, so.
I'm sorry,
we
man.
don't talk shit about Canada.
Something about Canada is... Well, it's not as bad as Australia, I'll give it that.
No, it's not, but pretty damn close.
And Poland, as for Poland, Poland's not that bad, but... They're bad. Geopolitically, they're bad. Yeah, Socialism for All is really upset about anything populist related. Maybe to react to a bourgeois documentary on us. Okay, let's look up Socialism for All because I want to see what you're talking about. So let's check this out. This guy only has... Oh, okay, so we might be starting drama because this guy only has 1.6k subs. So this is like small fish challenging slightly bigger fish. You know, it's not like we're challenging Vosh or something. But his videos are really long. Jimmy Dore's Boogler Blunder. What zero theory does to an MFer. Well, let me just say this. I don't know if I want to click on this 2-hour video, but let me just say this. I bet you anything, every single one of us in infrared are more educated theoretically than this guy. And the reason we're so confident is that we've been in this for a long time, guys. Years and years of theory. And when we say theory, we're not just talking about the classics of Marxism. We're not just talking about Marxism itself. We're talking about the really complicated stuff, like Deleuze and Lacan and those French guys I'm not going to bring up. And, you know, so, yeah, I'm pretty sure in that department, you know, we're probably a lot more knowledgeable theoretically than this guy, and we are endorsing Jimmy Dore going in the direction he is. So what zero theory does to an MFer, I would say that's just called arrogance, because it's assuming you know what the implications of the theory is. The implications of theory is always simple. Theory itself is not simple, but the meaning and the implication is always something simple. Maybe react to a bourgeois. Okay. People who regularly watch streams think of it as chatting with a friend. True. They also sense a community. True. We do have a community here. We do. What's up, El Rey de los Nomos? What's up, man? 4 infrareds. Nice as well. I think this is the 6th one. The 6th stream. But,
I think HTTP means 4 people.
I think there's a lot of MLM people who are very dogmatic. Running jokes, chat involvement, and low down time is what makes... I know, dude. Trust me, I know. It's just that I'm not funny today. You know? Trust me, I know. Let me think. Yeah, there's a lot of dogmatic MLM people. That's what I've noticed. But do we want to start drama? Infrared gang, that's exactly it. What's up, Justin Time? Dogmatic Maoists, yeah, that's the kind of thing. And Maoism in the West is kind of strange, to say the least. Right, Ezra? Or?
You're being a bit nice, but yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to put it politely.
But I don't think this guy is actually this guy is a Maoist. I think it's, even non-Maoist ML tankies in general can be dogmatic, and a lot. Certainly, over the recent controversy over Jimmy Dore, no, the MLs are not on his side in general, I would say.
Very true. Is there Polish Maoists? Probably.
What do
maybe react to a big video on modern China. Okay, guys, before any of this, I'm just going to say this video is wrong. Okay? And let's see if I'm right or not.
Scandinavia.
So this video has 2 million views, and our video.
Bernie Sanders.
Should we just react to our video? No, you guys probably already saw it. Our video has 1,700. But guess what? This one is correct. This one is probably wrong. That Stop Socialism ad? I know, dude. Comrade Dore pulling a Fred Hampton. Yeah, dude, he's becoming too woke. And if you look at Jimmy Dore's hair, he's becoming Super Saiyan Vegeta. He's becoming too powerful, you know? And I don't know what's going to happen. I honestly fear for the guy, you know, because he's literally becoming way too strong and like woke, you know? Even probably more than for his own good. Prager,
I'm surprised he hasn't been banned yet.
They'll off him if he keeps him up. I'm scared. Yeah, I'm definitely scared. Let's check this out.
And the Soviet Union have in common. Well, arguably the most
If Jimmy Dore ever finds out, you guys, he might. Hopefully, we get to a point where he'll notice us. His passion with your theory. I know, dude. That's what it's about. Because we back him up theoretically. We back Jimmy Dore up theoretically in a 100% consistent way. So yeah, it's a really deadly combo. You're right. Jimmy Paul Marat. Oh no, don't say that, dude.
Misused theory of all time. Socialism. The word is thrown around in popular culture and political discourse.
Virgin Wash for Chad Dore.
As both a pejorative and a compliment. But how can the same system...
I was just going to say something really mean, but I don't want to. Should I? I was going to say Vegeta Dore, and who am I going to say is Wash? Should I say it?
From the Dragon Ball?
Yeah. Well, Wash is kind of pink, right?
Just say it.
Oh, that thing.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be mean. No. I mean, fine. It's too far. Also, what the fuck is this background music? Krillin? I don't think it's Krillin. I don't think that's who I have in mind. No, dude. That's me in 2 years.
I don't think personal.
Krillin is me in like 2 years, okay? No. Okay. Let's keep it as up.
Be behind both the Nazi Party and Finland's world-class education controls the means of socialism. Well, in its most simple form, socialism is when a population collectively owns and controls the means of production.
Wait! That's actually not that wrong. That's actually kind of close to... Yeah, that's pretty much... I don't have a problem with this. I was expecting him to be like, it's when the workers democratically own the means of production and decide how to control the workplace. This is actually not that wrong. It really isn't. This is not that wrong, guys. I'm telling you, this is not that wrong. I thought it would be.
Distributes the end result proportionally.
Well, no. That's not... That's where it's wrong. Distributes the end result proportionally is where it's wrong.
Proportionally. In practice, however...
Yeah. In practice, however, control... Okay, that's where the false dichotomy ends up. What is a state? Okay? A state is the very... What is that Hegel quote? The state is the manifestation of the collective itself. There's no collective outside of, there's no like collective as the aggregate of individual wills. That's again Hobbesian Anglo bullshit. But I'm going to save the Anglo tirades for tomorrow because Ewoks labeled the stream the Anglo red pill. So I'm going to save the Anglo stuff for tomorrow. But
control is usually delegated to the state. Form of underlying social welfare to satisfy even the
Union this isn't
Union
terrible.
Of Soviets has been called a far cry from...
Why is it a far cry from real socialism? You just said it's social ownership.
Real socialism. The same is true of...
Why is it not real socialism?
Of Nordic socialist republics, which is called utopian of socialism, a utopia. We could eliminate classes and have true societal equality, regardless of their financial standing so well. while Russia is still recovering, as a countless
Okay, this is
number
a false
of
comparison, and this video is just annoying. You want to know who the weirdest videos are, guys? Why is the infographics, why are they so reactionary? They're so reactionary. Like, they always mention communism in every video, even if it has nothing to do with communism, and they're just really super reactionary. What is up with that? Paul Morin. What a good guy. That's the guy you guys are talking about, right? Damn, dude, 5 hours ago, 900. Good for him. That's crazy. His videos are really good quality. I saw some of them. Yes, they're probably
That
paid for
face
by the FBI.
that is usually covered by her phone.
I believe it. I believe it. They are really... What's up, boy? I haven't seen you here. Russia's still recovering from socialism. I love how that's what they always say. They always say that Eastern Europe and Russia, socialism was so destructive that they're still reeling from the effects 3 decades later.
It'd be nice if we didn't have to
That's what I learned in economics class in high school.
spend all our time working for bosses who really just don't give a shit about us beyond our ability to produce.
All right, but you could say the same thing about and I don't want to like start drama, but I'm already closing avenues. I didn't even know what this video is going to be. I disagree with this dude. I disagree with focusing on bosses. It seems like a liberal critique of decision making and control. And you could say the same thing about the Soviet Union and China. You could just be like, they don't give a damn about us beyond fulfilling the 5-year plan. And this is not really... Ooh, I don't want to watch it. I don't want to argue with him. You guys collab with Paul Morin, you know, come on. Already, I click on his video once and 2 seconds later I'm talking shit about him.
We burn all the bridges.
That's why we're gonna have low views, because Yeltsin started a food program that saved millions in Africa. Yeah. Nice one, Cosmic Bread. Nice one. I wonder if there's MLs who hate us, you know? Tankies who hate us.
Probably, if they find out about us.
No, Paul loves critique, does he? Does he love critique? I don't know anything about him. His videos are very good quality, but I'm not sure if I can agree with the angle he's coming from. Debate more in that, I guess. I don't want to antagonize him, you know? Because, like, I antagonize Vosh because I don't like Vosh, but I have nothing against Morin. When people left Russia under socialism, they were escaping tyranny. When people left Russia during the 90s, they were just looking for new opportunities. Yeah, exactly. You know, the 90s, that wasn't capitalism. That wasn't the privatization. That was just kind of the law of nature taking effect. Because the Soviet Union was preventing the Malthusian law of nature. That might be a bad clip to judge. I know, I don't want to judge him. You know, I'm just... Yeah, talk with Paul would be good, but he do change his mind as long as it made sense. Interesting. Tried to get on revolutionary left. But we're not... We're going to be accused of not being revolutionary, probably. Punching left now is stupid, in my opinion. It's very stupid. It's very stupid. We're not going to do it. Trust me. Don't worry about it. It is very stupid. You're right. Should just go on to get exposure. He's got like 15K subs and he's doing really well for himself. So we have to. Do you want to know that? We have to prove that we're not just weirdos. You know, we have to prove that we can be viable because we are kind of weird. You know, compared to everyone else. I'm convinced infographics is a corporate op. Something, dude. CIA or something. Because it's always like... You ever notice? You know who I fucking hate? I'm sorry. I hate this fucking guy. This guy triggers me, dude. He triggers me. I don't know what it is about him. This guy triggers me. Okay? He's always... You know... This guy triggers me.
Everyone, right allies in this community history. Engage...
Not this video, but...
Hey, guys.
Do you guys know who this is? J-Reg is children's content. Dude, he's so passive-aggressive. I don't like this guy, dude. He's like, I don't like his humor. It's not funny to me. It's just passive aggressive and, you know, a communist gets in the stock market. Okay. Could you react to Western propaganda video on the DPRK like the richest or amazing? I don't know. Watch this commie trading stocks video. Okay, fine. I'll watch it. But these people always make it seem like being like a fucking shill for the establishment is the cool thing and everyone else is cringe. You know?
What are you doing there, Kulak?
I'm trading something called stocks, Kami. You wouldn't get it.
Bah! Watching imaginary numbers compete with imaginary numbers like it has any...
By the way, guys, Mark's traded on the stock market. So don't... Yeah, if you have money to trade and you know what you're doing, don't ever let some leftist cuck you and say you can't. I enjoy his satire. J-Reg is normalizing extremism, which is good in my opinion. That's one way to look at it.
A waste of time.
That's because the public education system gave you a raw deal, Red.
Guys, actually, believe it or not, I'm going to, red pill you. This couple is a power couple. This is a power couple, guys. No joke, this is a power couple. Tanky plus libertarian is a power couple. Right libertarian, that's a power couple. Because we have the power, right? And they're just kind of like, you know, the subordinates. Whereas, you want to know what else is a power couple? The blue, the right, authoritarian right, and libertarian left. That's another power couple. It's always the diagonals on the political spectrum. Let me look it up. I'm going to actually show you guys this. So, okay. Quadrant. Fuck Bing, dude. This is all Bing. Not showing me what I need to see. See, I look it up on Google and it immediately shows it, but Bing is out of touch. Fuck off, Bill Gates. In reality, he's just...
Is there a reason why you don't use Chrome or something?
No, it's just automatic. Oh, yeah, because I don't use Chrome because all my main shit's on there. He never touches on dialectical materialism. Well, I don't expect that, but he's just passive-aggressive. He's like every student I've ever known in college and high school who's really arrogant and smug because they're like the teacher's pet. And they're like, oh, well, in reality, I just kissed the establishment's ass, and that makes me the cool guy. Sorry. Libertarian tanky shipping. Yes, I'm going to explain this to you guys. Anarchists and fascists are both... It's not just idealism, okay? Look, in every of these political relationships, there's the dom and there's the sub, like in BDSM terminology, right? These two are doms. These two are subs. Okay, you guys listening? I might clip this and, you know, put this on the channel. The diagonals are the BDSM couple. This is the dom and this is the sub. Example, China. The CCP rules... but it has a very robust and dynamic libertarian underbelly, not only economically, but also politically. We've talked about that before, too. A very dynamic, decentralizing process of culture, politics. These two is a power couple, okay? These two are a power couple. These two are also a power couple. Why? Because there's a reason why when Trump was in power... These guys grew the biggest. Antifa and BreadTube and all these people. When Trump was in power, these guys thrived the most because they secretly love each other and they want to hug and kiss. These two. These two. Of course, J-Reg doesn't know any theory. He only knows about memes and ideologies. China, child of libertarian and tanky. No, it's still the tanky. But this is the kind of underbelly, right? But these two are also a power couple. These two right here. You never want to be in this power couple. If you're here, this is your dom. If you're here, then you are that. Okay? If you are here, you are just basically your authoritarian rights bitch. If you're right here. Okay? This is really red pill shit. I'm explaining to you guys. So where is infrared on the spectrum? Infrared is right here. You guys see this? Somewhere here. Somewhere kind of around here, right? That's where infrared is. But we also talk to this. This is where Nick Land is. Okay. And Vosh is right here. He's right here. Quarantine probably ramped up homosexual thoughts 300%. Why? Horseshoe theory confirmed. Yes, it's not a horseshoe, it's a diagonal crisscross relationship. Okay, it's the crisscross theory of politics. These two and these two. This guy's in charge, this one's not in charge. This guy's in charge, this one's not in charge. This is the moralizing bratty sub who's always bitching and whining, but in reality, this is their daddy, authoritarian right. This is why top to bottom hate each other. They fucking hate each other. These green people fucking hate the reds. They hate them. And they'll rather side with the blues than the reds. Libertarians are the women of political discourse. Okay, we're getting a little bit sexist here. Getting a little bit misogynistic, okay? We're going to cool off. But this was... Okay, I don't want to say it. This was like what... Yeah, this is the reason. Because I just saw this couple and made me remind you. Okay, we want to watch
Poor
this.
thing. They never taught you about economics. You had to learn it from a Santa Claus impersonator.
I detest capitalism.
He has a Russian accent that's cute. Let's watch our
impersonator.
I detest capitalism.
He has a Russian accent that's cute. Let's watch our
impersonator. I detest capitalism.
He has a Russian accent that's cute. Let's watch our
impersonator. I detest capitalism.
He has a Russian accent that's cute.
Let's watch our
impersonator. I detest capitalism.
Did you just break the stream?
He has a Russian accent that's cute.
This
goes on infinitely.
Did you just break the stream?
He has a Russian accent that's cute. This is the true political spectrum, okay? Don't ask questions. This is what it actually looks like. Accent that's cute. Alright, okay, we're done with that. Breaking dimensions. Alright, we got rid of it. Oh, guys. You know what I want to do, but I don't know if you guys want this? I just want to watch Batman clips, because I fucking love this movie. I was doing it the other day. Tell me what you guys think. You want to do that? And we'll offer commentary on Batman? No.
Very relevant.
It is kind of relevant. Have you guys ever seen this video? Mashallah,
Yeah,
Hakeem, let's go. Oh, is Hakeem on? Where's Hakeem? Watch Sopranos clips. TDK. Yeah, I like 3 too a lot. Borko got the clips. Oh, there's Hakeem. Yeah, he's right here.
Meet your next pillow. Why do we make our pillow in the shape of a cube? I'll tell you.
Hi there. What exactly is wrong with capitalism? In this video, I'll enumerate a few basic points which can help in grasping why capitalism has outlived its usefulness, and it's time to go beyond. Not from a moralistic perspective, but from one based on the
Alright, I don't like this argument. I don't know, not to pick beef. I don't like the infinite growth in a finite world argument. It's very undialectical, and I kind of agree with Caleb. I don't know about the billionaire thing, but let's not buy into the Malthusian stuff, okay? The dialectic of infinity and finitude is not just in regards to humanity and the earth, it's even in regards to the smallest. It doesn't necessarily mean infinity ends. Infinity always has a finite instantiation, but it's a dialectical relation, so infinity is also infinite. It's complicated. I don't like this argument whatsoever. Okay, I'm already talking shit, but I don't like this argument. I don't like the infinite growth in a finite resources. This is really non-Marxist, undialectical argument.
Here's a video.
Oh, it's a video.
This is crazy.
Oh, good evening.
Can you guys see this in the Zoom? Stop skipping around. Sorry.
Yeah, it's Joker.
I can't, actually, I've never been able to figure out how to see, like, what's going on in the Zoom. How do you do that?
I don't know.
Okay, well, never mind. It's not a big deal. I've been like kind of figuring out what's going on.
I just watch the stream and listen to the audio. I just use my imagination to piece them together.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing too. I've just been looking at the chat and listening to the audio.
One thing you could do is like open up a different browser and then click on the video. Oh wait, no, there's a delay.
No. I think the problem is very hard to catch up because we stop make commentary, so it's usually not worth it. I've tried.
The cynical historian on.
Did you know that the average adult has 5 to 20 pounds of toxic poop in their body at any given moment?
Okay. The contradiction of capitalism will lead to its death. However, the death of capitalism of the current Marxist expansion. The market can't expand forever. I disagree with that, Bolshevik Blade. I heavily disagree with that. It can. Because of dialectics, it can. There is infinity. Infinity is imminent. When you think you've reached the limit, you've just encountered the threshold of a new limit. There's never actually a limit. It's very substantialistic and Anglo to think the world has finite resources and will eventually be exhausted. Yeah, I dislike neo-Malthusianism arguments and appeals. If you're a true communist, then you're also an accelerationist, because what you can say instead is that only communists can unleash the forces of production. Maybe there will be a limit to the forces of production, but the social revolutions always overcome those limits. I want you guys to think about a concept called K-cycles, okay? How can we reach post-scarcity in a finite world? Because what you think is finite is actually entangled in a dialectic that is infinite. Finitude is part of the dialectic of infinity. The cynical historian video. I don't know. Let me think. Okay, guys. This is a contra day of cycle, okay? This is why the infinite whatever is stupid. Yes, this is finite. But then, yeah, see? Keeps going and keeps going. Keeps going, keeps going. Basically, this is what I'm talking about. Okay? People keep saying capitalism's done, capitalism's done. But look what happens, right? Capitalism is done. It's over. It's collapsing forever. We're all out of resources. Oh, nope, it's not. Oh, we're done. It's collapsing forever. All out of resources. Nope, it's not. See this? Contra day of cycle. Look it up. Every man a king, abolish billionaires. I don't know. You don't even have to say either, you know? Abolish billionaires kind of means nothing, but I agree with Reddit. Why don't you just bankrupt these billionaires and don't bail them out? If you don't bail them out, they will collapse on their own. So you don't even have to be like Caleb and be like, no, billionaires are good. No, they're not good. Because they're parasites. Because if the government, were it not for the government propping them up, they would collapse. Matter cannot be destroyed. Create matter out of energy. It's all about the dialectic of form and matter, Greg Gaddafi. Like, matter isn't just one form. Okay, let's...
Jake Sherman reports, now he's an NBC reporter, he says Democrats do not expect to be able to send Joe Biden a COVID relief bill until early March.
Isn't it interesting when they can move fast and when they can't?
That's exactly what that guy just...
But AOC wanted to do she wanted to do the impeachment, and she wanted to have time for that, but not this. Not the force to vote for Medicare. Interesting.
I would just say, stay tuned. The day of reckoning will come. The record will be...
Isn't this... So this was 2019 in December, and it kind of seems like he was trying to say something, right? My recommended is very distracting. Sorry. The girl that started the Twitter simp war. Hegemony, how to fight blue MAGA. Interesting. Explaining every political ideology. Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm actually going to watch the shit out of that movie. And I really liked King of the Monsters, but we won't veer into that. You guys aren't ready for that conversation. But first of all, it's not, since we're just browsing shit, why don't I just ask? So, okay, guys, bear with me here. This is just a simple question. So you see this? They're the same size. Why are they the same fucking size? It's so stupid, dude. Because just because Godzilla's big doesn't mean he's a good UFC fighter. So if there's a gorilla the same size, he doesn't stand a fucking chance. I'm sorry, he doesn't. Okay? Kong just has to bite his little
he
chicken.
does have superpower.
Yeah, you're right. He has the super breath thing, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like if Kong
they have to.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go ahead. I
No,
was just
go
saying they
ahead.
have to enlarge. Okay, they have to enlarge Kong a lot because
I know, yeah.
King Kong is not that big. He's on the Empire State Building, the classic image.
This is
So they have
just
to buff
stupid.
his size.
This is a stupid size, and even the one from 2017 was a stupid size, because in the Peter Jackson Kong, he was just abnormally large. This is really stupid that he's 400 feet tall. But let me go out on a limb and say something, guys. Even if he was, let's say, a quarter of Godzilla's size, then it could be a fair fight, or even maybe half. Guys, gorillas are really strong, okay? They're really strong. And Godzilla has short arms, and he's really slow, and he has a really tiny head. And this, imagine if Godzilla was your size. You could probably beat the shit out of him. You know what I mean? So this is not a fair fight. This is not a fair fight at all.
What do you think? What do you think they were going to represent in the film? Godzilla
Oh, that's a really interesting conversation. That's actually a really no, it is 100%.
Yeah, I know. I'm not kidding.
Okay. King of the Monsters was a deep Heideggerian, deep ecology film to me, but in that movie, Godzilla represents the kind of hyper object of ecology that's described by the speculative realism people. He represents basically like this kind of, not Gaia, but he just represents like the ecological being of the earth, right? Of earth specifically, of ecology. So to an extent, there is a contradiction between earth and humanity, right? But since we live on earth, Godzilla protected humanity against Ghidorah, who represented a foreign alien intruder. You can maybe see Ghidorah as like the alien invasion of modernity, right? That's like crushing the earth. So that's how I saw that. But now we're seeing King Kong versus Godzilla. Let me guys explain to you what King Kong meant originally. So everyone knew that in the initial film. Let me show you this scene from Peter Jackson's King Kong 2005. I'll show you what King Kong represents. King Kong 2005 city, when he escapes the city. I want you to think about this scene and think about what it means. Let me get to the chat. Godzilla rant stream. Yeah, it's interesting where shit leads us, but you learn some stuff from this. Big Monkey. I'm on King Kong's side. If you need to know who I'm on the side of. Godzilla has a tail. Could gorilla win against the Komodo dragon? Yes, it could. A gorilla could just grab it and rip it apart. Guys, gorillas can bench like, how much can they bench? Like 2,000 easily. I'm sorry, they're very strong. Comrade Kong. True. It's very true, Jake English. I'm going to explain it to you. Big monkey and big lizard punch each other. Okay, I'm going to explain what this means. Watch this scene. Watch this scene. Look at this. What is this? What is this really showing you emotionally, right? Look at all these lights, all these signs. This is the quintessential encounter between the proletarianized subject and the modern world. Sometimes when I went to Chicago, I felt like this, you know? It kind of does break it off, but this is like the encounter between primordial humanity, the proletariat, the worker, and this wild, ruthless, alien, unnatural, sick world that we live in, of industrial modernity. That's what King Kong is about. King Kong is about the Christ-like martyrdom and sacrifice of the most primordial representative of humanity, being just shot down by planes. Everyone's attacking him. He's confused. He doesn't know what's going on. The whole world is coming after him. And when they trying to kill Kong, it's representative of the fact that capitalism or modernity is trying to kill humanity itself.
There's also slavery in nature.
You know, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Sorry. There's also slavery imagery, right? Like they go in there and then he's forcibly brought.
The colonialism interpretation is the same. It's exactly up the same alley. There's two main basic interpretations of King Kong. The colonialism one, which is basically the encounter between colonized people and modernity, and basically the fact that the colonial humanity represents humanity at its most fundamental. And there's the proletarian interpretation, which is that King Kong represents the proletariat and how the proletariat is living in an alien world. You know, it's like treated as a beast of burden, basically. And I think they're actually one and the same interpretation. So I unite both of those interpretations. So that's kind of what King Kong represents. King Kong is Comrade Kong. King Kong represents the proletariat in a way, represents humanity. Our unalienated humanity is what King Kong is. See, King Kong, who wants this woman, and she's a white woman, so that's also symbolic, whatever, imagery or whatever, because the white woman means a certain thing in the, you know, within the imagination of America and so on. But it basically represents that this unalienated humanity is looking for a kernel of goodness in this bad, wicked world. And you know, it's kind of like we live in a white supremacist society, so it's going to be represented as a blonde-haired white woman, right? Kong is the oppressed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. So I don't want to take up too much of the time with this. So that's what Godzilla vs. Kong means, I think. I think Kong represents humanity, and Godzilla represents the Earth, ecology, right? That's what the real battle is going on about here. So who do I side with? 100% Kong. But I also like Godzilla too, but I gotta side with Kong. You know, you guys take your picks. Godzilla represents the alien, but also the consistent whole ecological Earth in its deep terrestrial. You know, he's underground in the vents, you know, swimming around in the vents. So also the conflict between humanity and like lizards. I'm not a reptilian conspiracy guy, but that is a thing in history, right? Lizards kind of represent our cold, mechanical, animal self. They represent nature, right? And then, you know, King Kong represents warmth and humanity. So that's kind of the difference that's going on. It's geology, plate tectonics versus it's the Anthropocene, you know what I'm saying? Not to be a sued. Damn, King Kong has more theory than all BreadTube for real. It's all this stuff is very deep, guys. It's all very deep. I gotta watch this now. I recommend it, dude. Watch it. It's a really good movie. What was King Ghidorah? Yeah, I mentioned that before. I think King Ghidorah represents not only just the alien modernity that's destroying the Earth, you know, like in the parable, but King Ghidorah also represents, in terms of whenever you think of alienness, you got to think of King Ghidorah as like this. You know what King Ghidorah was? He was the Reddit Wall Street Bets. Just this vortex coming from an alien place that's hijacking the ecological processes and feedback loops and sucking it all up. You know, this kind of, yeah, that's what I think of King Ghidorah. Lizard brain, Godzilla, exactly. But the lizard brain is also why Godzilla defends the Earth, because we think of ecology in a lizard-like way. It's just this blind force that doesn't care about humanity, and that we humans have to take care of the Earth because it's like a lizard. This is 1,000 times in Voss stream serious, but our viewers are dropping off, so that's another thing too. What's Mothra and Mechagodzilla? Mothra actually has I just learned this. Mothra was first discovered in China, so I think Mothra represents the eloquency and beauty of the object of the Chinese aesthetic. Right? Ezra, correct me if I'm sounding like an idiot.
I mean, it makes sense to me. I don't know much about Mothra, but
Yeah.
I can see that interpretation.
Mechagodzilla. That's going to be an interesting one. I've never seen what Mechagodzilla looks like. If you guys don't know, the old Godzilla vs. Kong movies are really stupid. They're really stupid. You know? I mean, so only the recent movies are the only ones that are like, yeah, guys, look at how fucking stupid this is. 5,000 years of civilization. Yeah, I think that's what Mothra represents, I think. Just eloquence and beauty, you know? Civilization. Look how fucking dumb this is. Yeah, this is kind of... Okay, right? So, you could say these movies have gotten a bit more serious. Oh god, I got the film. What's up, Jonathan Bruce? Yeah, so they're clearly not as serious as they used to be. You never see this ridiculousness in the digital age. Maybe it would be a fair fight if Godzilla could maneuver like this one. Like, could just jump up and down and shit. Let me see if this is the one where he's jumping. Yeah, the current Godzilla cannot jump, okay? It says nothing on the Star Trek Gorn fight scene. I don't know shit about Star Trek. I don't know anything about it. You'll never see... Yeah. Godzilla's funniest moments. Check this out. It's so fucking stupid. Yeah, they're not gonna. They don't have the balls to do this. Eat your vegetables or something. Godzilla destroyed Japan in 30 days. Yeah, the whole thing about Godzilla, originally the parable was like Godzilla represents the atomic bomb or whatever, right? Guys, like a quarter of our viewers left. It's a sign.
You can just change the stream name to Godzilla Stream and we'll get the viewers back, no problem.
No, because when we archive it, it won't save the original stuff. Did he get paid though? I don't know. Thoughts on the guy kidnapped to make Godzilla in the DPRK? Let's check it out. Pulgasari, yeah. I remember this. Hearing about this. Where's the thing? Where is the monster? This is like a medieval. Right. Takes place in yeah. You guys want to know a good movie? Speaking of these old movies, I'm not going to show it to you. There's a movie on YouTube. It's free. It's a Soviet film, and it's called Change His Profession. What is it called? This fucking movie is really good, guys.
Welcome to the Disney
Check
Bundle,
this movie
where
out
Disney
sometime
Plus,
and watch it.
Hulu, and ESPN Plus
Monster
come to
represents
life
proletarian
on all
anger
your
in this film.
screens. Hulu
The
original.
monsters represent being. They represent ecology. They represent hyper objects. If you look up what a hyper object is. This is a really good movie, guys. I recommend it. This movie's right here. It's really fun time. DPRK film? I don't know about that one. I don't know. I don't like the suit monster films. You know, I never liked them.
Boy. Mm-hmm. And why should we believe you?
Five people are waiting for this? Who's waiting? 5 people are waiting. Wow. Let's give that a like. Okay, I found all the infographics. Is the dude who runs the private Waldorf stream on Slovenia. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, that's exactly why. We need a monster that revolts against the modern world. King Kong. Right? Isn't that what King Kong does? Yeah, that's King Kong. Oh, man. How long has our stream been running?
I think it's been like a little over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 hours. Wow.
2 hours, 50 minutes. Let me turn on the lights. You guys can't see shit. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Oh, fuck.
There's a short but awful video on Assad by Vosh if you're interested.
I kind of want to watch it. I don't know about you guys.
Okay, fine. Fine, we'll watch it. Where? I don't see it.
I have a feeling he's not going to be a civic.
Oh, it's Bashar based.
Cancelled. What's this?
Okay.
منهجيتها هو
do I have to?
I'm just so bored of Vosh, you know. I don't. He's not that
الانحلال
interesting.
الأخلاقي بشكل كامل وفصل الإنسان عن أي مبادئ أو قيم أو.
Did you respond to this on Twitter? Guys, this is why, by the way, you're about to see the reason why the types of people who support Assad, okay? You know what, I'm just going to skip through it because we're reading the text. I'll read it in English.
By the way, what Assad is saying, besides like the trans stuff, because people just aren't educated on that, everyone outside the West agrees. Everyone who's not a Westerner pretty much agrees with it. Unless they're like city cosmopolitan types. This is like common sense for most people. It's not even that controversial.
Neoliberalism is based on promoting a total...
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't... It is. It fucking is, man. I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologize for this. Like, wait, where did Ezra go?
Oh, he said in the Discord that he had to go a couple minutes ago.
Okay, yeah. Okay, for sure. Sorry. Yeah, I just wasn't looking. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, it is based on moral degeneracy, dude. It objectively is. I don't know how you could argue it isn't. The only thing, though, is that neoliberalism isn't real. But the West does promote moral degeneracy. It absolutely does.
I mean, Vosh himself is an example of this moral degeneracy. I mean, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean...
Degeneracy and separating individuals from any principles or values.
True. It is fucking true. That's what, like, Reddit soy facing is about, right? It's about having no beliefs, no values, only MCU and Nintendo Switch. What is this based on? I don't fucking know.
And affiliations and beliefs in order to reach this moral degeneracy. Neoliberalism promoted gay marriage.
We get it, dude.
They started in the
He's anti-gay.
1970s, and now gay marriage is legal. And now they have children, but it's different from adopting because how can they have children?
Okay.
Neoliberalism promoted that a child does not choose his own religion. And this is against the child's free...
Wait, does not choose his own religion. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I don't know if I want to get into this territory, but it's like... There is a weird relationship to like... Like, I saw someone say that to change a diaper, you need the baby's consent. A mother needs her baby's consent to change the baby's diaper, and I'm just kind of thinking.
It's like they try to remove your basic reality. Like everyone is born, and has like these things that are outside of their control. You can't just get rid of your basis for existence.
Yeah.
That's what they try to do.
People who disagree are the people who are just with their country. Could be like yeah, I know, dude. They're like the elites who are so cooler than everyone else.
Its own religion. And this is against the child's freedom of expression.
Yeah, I mean, the reason he's saying that, Vosh, is because when you're born in a family, the religion you're born in the Middle Eastern culture means something completely different, And when you're told that you're not born with it, it's like, I don't know. It's like literally have a sense of infinity, yeah.
A child is born without any religion and later chose his own religion when he's grown up.
Yeah, I mean,
Isn't Assad's party supposed to be secular?
Oh my god, dude, no, it's not like that, okay? It's not like... Yes, it's secular, but it's different in the Middle East, okay? You don't understand. You just don't get it, dude. This is such a stupid point. I'm not even like an Assad fan. Like, I don't hate him, but it's ultimately the business of the Syrian people, but Vosh just looks stupid. Calling it now, he calls him a fascist.
Of course he does. Of course he does. He's not a civic nationalist like Navalny is. He's a fascist.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Isn't the Ba'ath Party supposed to be secular?
Yeah, but secular doesn't mean atheist, dude. That's what you don't get.
Or am I thinking of a different thing?
It means something else in the Middle East. Like, what are you trying to say?
It is against
ever since human. That's why they're secular, Vosh, because he's talking about religion in general, not just Islam. He's talking about all the religions. So that's what they mean by secular. And actually, that's the origin of secularism, is like the 30-day war, Protestants and Christians. It wasn't about atheism.
Human nature, ever since humans made their own idols and gods...
Dude, are you going to debate Assad now? Like, what is going on? Is he going to debate Assad?
Instinctively belong to his family's religion. They contradict humanity.
What he says makes sense from a Middle Eastern perspective, okay? You don't have to agree with it, but like it's coherent. It makes sense.
It has recently promoted marijuana is not harmful, and now it's sold in shops legally. They start claiming that drugs are not harmful, and later they will find something more harmful. Now in some places you can buy marijuana-flavored bread. This is neoliberalism. Neoliberalism now claims that a child is born and does not have a gender.
Dude, we don't need to give our take on this, because there's just no point. Should I just give my take and just be like, okay, you know what? What do you guys think? Advise me the other way if you want. What should I just keep my mouth shut about this or what? We're not transphobic. We don't have a problem with trans people, but you think we should keep our mouth shut, Comment Romano? Okay, we will. Give it. Oh, you're saying give it, okay. I think it's really fucking stupid to tell a child that they don't have a gender and say wait till they're later. I just think that's retarded. I really think that's retarded and stupid. Okay, that's what I think.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's like they're trying to remove like your kind of like fundamental like premises of like existence.
Exactly. Like you can become trans or you can discover however they put it, but saying you begin as nothing is just, it does contradict humanity. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That's like saying you can choose your parents. No, you can't choose your parents, okay? You're born to a certain mother and a certain father. At least, you know, you're born to a certain mother, okay? Like, that's the one who you know you were born to. You can't change that. You can't. That's why liberalism is in decline, because they're trying to make everything a choice. But there's some things that we don't have any choice about. That's what it means to be human. We also can't choose whether we're human or not.
It wasn't like the whole point that you don't choose your sexuality. Like even if you're like a transgender or you're in the LGBT community, it's not like you conscientiously decided, oh, I'm going to be this. You know what I mean?
Assad is a Muslim. Is he supposed to throw away his beliefs to make Vosh feel better? Vosh is debating Bashar al-Assad.
Child chooses later to be male or female. Very strange indeed. So what do we understand from this? Neoliberalism targets our humanity, and by doing so, it collides with religions because religions serve humanity. Well,
okay. What are you going to do? Debate him, dude? You don't understand what he's saying because you don't understand the context. You don't understand the culture or context, dude. Just shut up.
Neoliberalism separates individuals from their values. Yeah, okay. So, damn, am I a neoliberal now? Because, like, his argument against neoliberalism is literally gays can marry, trans people exist, and you can buy weed now.
No, that's not really the main point. Their main point is that liberalism is being brought to such an extreme that it's contradicting humanity itself. You may not agree with the examples he uses, but I'm pretty sure it makes sense to everyone else. Anti-humanism, yeah, I mean, freedom to everything means freedom to from nothing. Yeah. It is like liberalism got so liberal, all parts of the individual got abolished or something. Exactly, dude, exactly. Everyone else gets it. But he's focusing on the dumbest parts.
Seems a bit much. Hold on. Just.
Okay, dude.
Wait, who is he even addressing? Like, who are these Assad fans in the West? Like, I don't know anyone.
There's like some tanky people.
But it has to be such a small minority. Like, even then, it seems to be more like an anti-imperialist.
It's a meme. Yeah, it's a meme. It's a meme. Zero books here with capitalist realism. Oh, now he's looking Biden's ass. Okay. What do we do about immigration? University of Michigan debate. How will video games get made under communism? Dude, the Sam Cedar is like the biggest cuck ever.
Hey, I'm Rafael Pieri. Hey.
Oh, what a cringe. What a cringe fucking starter. Steven Pinker, dude. You lost me.
Wasn't Sam Cedar like crying about getting bodied by Brenna Graves all over Twitter?
Yeah, he was saying she was yelling at him.
How I can understand like how anyone with any kind of like self-respect or pride like cries about like a debate like that. I don't get that.
God help him if he debates us.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous. Like all these like left liberals always take this position of weakness and try to get some kind of pity. Like, oh man, she was yelling at me and blah 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 blah. I don't see like how anyone just like can like play the victim like that without any kind of shame, you know.
Jesus, it's Godzilla's son.
That's the best game ever. It seems to be like the game that the left and the left liberals always play. Whether it's with like, it's always this fear-based thing. Even Vosh, when he's talking about the demonic courts, is like we have to protect ourselves from this. You know,
he's talking about Tetris. He's talking about Tetris.
Oh, my bad.
This is such a sick scene.
Did you know you can go to libertymutual.com to customize your car insurance so you only pay for what you need?
Gypsy Crusader is dialect. Isn't that the what the fuck is that movie called? The movie about battle bots. Pacific Rim. The chat delay is annoying. Why is it so extreme? Oh my god, the chat delay is like crazy. I don't know, I can't do anything about it. This is a sick scene.
Is either good or bad. I vote bad. On what basis? I flipped a coin.
This is what Wall Street Bets did to GameStop and to the hedge funds. You watch Voss versus Caleb on stream? No. Dude, I'm sick of Voss for today. No more Voss. Probably gonna just show this and I'm gonna end it. Cause I gotta go. Damn, dude. Imagine if Occupy became this instead of blue-haired triggered people. Imagine if Occupy became this instead of BreadTube, you know? We got Vosh instead of this. Look, guys. If Antifa was doing this, this is what would happen. Ready? If Antifa was doing this, I'm gonna tell you how this would happen.
Really? And why are you people here?
No, wait. Someone would come. Stop! Stop! What are you doing? Stop! That's really toxic. We're no better than them. Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Trump has got to go. Hey, hey! Okay, I saw it on Wall Street. It's similar, but that's not. If this was Antifa doing this, immediately after Bane did this, they would all swarm him. They'd all jump on him, and they'd take him away. Let me look at your computer. We're gonna see what your Twitter history is. Checking the Twitter history. If we find what we think, shut up and play the movie. You shut up, Motor Headache. Most liberals are too weak to do anything. That's why they live on Twitter. Pelosi's computer. No, if Antifa was doing this, they're searching the computer for cancelable tweets. Here come the police. This is Chaz.
Risking my men for your money.
So we're gonna have to ask you to move. We have a situation here.
It's not our money, it's everybody's.
Really? Mine's in my mattress.
You don't put these guys down, that stuffing in your mattress might be worth a
Based
whole
police
lot
officer.
less.
Cut the fiber cable and take out that cell.
I'm not risking my men for your money. Yeah, they had potential. Chaz didn't have potential, dude.
Cut the fiber. Sun's working. For now.
Dude, imagine if this was the left. Look at the left we have now.
Get all these barriers up. I want all of them up. No one gets in or out of any of these streets.
Where am I supposed to move it?
Back it up.
I think this is a little bit toxic. And specifically,
Just stay in your vehicle, okay?
Bane. He kind of looked like a skinhead. Leftist movements in the West is a joke. And this isn't their fault. Years of crackdowns. Nah, dude, it is their fault. Because they're cucks. Antifa would have droned them in milkshakes. Chaz is settled, man. Yeah, somebody get this hothead out of here.
Thank you.
Like, obviously, no one's gonna be like this in real life. But I'm just saying, like, imagine if they had this vibe, you know? That's all I'm trying to say. Like, obviously, no one's gonna do this in real life. I'm just talking about the vibe, you know? Like, this exudes a different energy to me than
got something.
Hey, hey, ho, ho. Trump has got to go. Whose streets? Our streets. Someone get... Oh, it's over. What the fuck? Is that it? Should we end it now?
Yeah, unless anyone has any questions left for us.
We're gonna have like 5 minutes, maybe, or less. Analysis on Transformers. It's actually a really good point. Here's my analysis of Transformers, boy. Ready? I actually do have one. The Transformers represent the new relationship between the substantial forces of production and financial virtual abstraction. The Transformers represent the modular nature and malleable nature of the Marxist classical forces of production to this new kind of socialism. That's why they're like transforming and the metal is kind of floating and shit. And it's like, that's what that whole aesthetic is about. It's just like what Reddit is doing. You want to know about Transformers? Look at what Reddit's doing. Reddit is creating a transformer because they're directing capital into GameStop, and they're making the machine malleable. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. What I'm trying to say here is that not only do we need to build a new left, we also need to properly preserve it. I don't know what there is to preserve anymore. You know, I just don't. Instead of letting liberal idpol take over. I don't know, man. It seems like from the root to the core, the Western left is dead. In dumbass terms, please. Okay, Transformers are... Okay, when you think of a towering hunk of metal, you think of something that is solid and stable, but Transformers are hunks of metal that are malleable and virtual and you know what I'm saying? So the whole point is the new relationship between the forces of production, or if not the forces of production, maybe it's a more loaded term, the substantial means of production and the new virtual type of digital whatever capital signaling. The virtual and the actual. Do you think people will get tired of BreadTube and move on to greater things? Yeah, we already predicted BreadTube's going to collapse and the Tanky Sphere is going to rise, and that you're going to see 250 viewers watching a stream on infrared one day. Yeah. RiceTube, yeah. Okay, guys. Based. Alright, guys, give us a follow on our Twitter if you haven't already. We'd really appreciate it. Twitter.com/showinfrared. Caps don't matter. We're gonna be on stream tomorrow with Ewoks at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Ewoks' channel. So shout out Ewoks. You are King Kong. Thank you so much, Gaddafi's ghost. Alright, guys, see you later. Bye bye.
Yeah, take care, everyone. Bye.
Later, guys. Thanks for coming.